So please bear with me here. I've never actually done a virtual webinar of this size. So I hope it works out well. Okay. Everyone can hear me? Can everyone see me? There's no delay. There's no kind of static or anything. Okay, perfect. All right. Well, let's give everyone. Hey, Lloyd, how you doing? Welcome, brother. Let's give everyone a few minutes. It's not even. It's 3:00 right now, Arizona time. So, hi, Annie. Not sure if you can hear me. Okay. Nice swag. Hey, Adam. How are you, brother? Good. Me too. I'm looking forward to it. I did it. Yes, I got a haircut for the workshop and also for the market. everything's been everything's been unbelievable. It's been like an incredibly busy week. I don't think any of us have slept that well this week. Market has not allowed us to really have an opportunity to sleep, to be honest with you. It's been unbelievable. Like, yeah, I've so many like just live trades right now open and it's so hard to manage. Like, unbelievable. It's been really good. Okay. Yeah, let's go. So people are all coming in now. So let's give them like 5-10 minutes or so. You guys can if you want to introduce yourselves and just maybe say like 15-20 seconds about who you are, how you got into crypto, and whether or not you have any experience in on-chain. I'd love to hear that. So whoever wants to go first, don't go all at once. I know most people are probably going to be a little shy. So you know what I want to do? Yeah, go ahead. I also want to do a poll. Let me do that. Yeah, let me do a poll. Let me write that quickly. So I'll say how many of, or no, the question would be very simple. Have you ever set up a MetaMask or Phantom wallet? So that's the first question, right? That'll be my first poll. And then I'll just say yes or no. And then maybe the third option will be, I don't know what that is. And then the next question, yeah, that'll be a good question. Let me launch that one. Okay, so I'm going to launch that first question. And then I want to ask another question. Have you ever used a decentralized exchange? Because I think a lot of people actually haven't. So like Uniswap or like SushiSwap, PancakeSwap, Radium, Jupiter, any of those are all different types of exchanges. And then I'll say the same thing. I don't know what that is. You see, that's why I put that in. I can already see people answering. I don't know what that is. It's fine. That's the whole goal. Okay, what other questions should I ask? I think those are good, right? Have you ever set up a MetaMask or Phantom wallet? Have you ever used decentralized exchange? And then what else? I think that's good. Those are two good questions. If you guys can all answer that. Oh, this is good. I'm loving this. So far, let me share the results. Yeah. Now I can see what people are answering. So the vast majority have said yes, they've set up MetaMask or Phantom wallets and have executed swaps on decentralized exchanges. Good. That's perfect. So there's a few of you who don't know what that is or have no experience doing that, and it's no problem at all. That's the whole point of the workshop. That's why I love doing workshops. So I'll be happy to do that. Hey, Wally. How you doing, brother? Oh, you're on mute. You're on mute, brother. It's all good. No worries. Good. Good. Alhamdulillah, brother. I'm good, man. How's everything with you? Doing well? Good, man. All right. I'm just waiting for people to join. There's quite a few people have actually confirmed that they were going to join, so I want to make sure I give them an opportunity to join. It's a long workshop. Like, I'm here for the next 3 hours, so don't, I don't want this to just be like me speaking. Like in the past, when I've done workshops, the ones that have done really, really well and have helped a lot of people, are like interactive ones where I give everyone like multiple opportunities to ask questions, and like I really hope you ask questions, right? I don't want this to be um, where I'm the only one speaking for 3 hours. I can do that, and I do that in the Blockcircle live streams, right? And that's never a concern for me. But I also would love to just hear from you and hear questions, because then I can really get some constructive feedback. Is there going to be a link to the whole video in the end? Yes, absolutely. There will be. Let me actually make sure I'm recording it in one way. Let me record it in a second way as a backup. It's definitely overkill, but I want to do it. And let me add the captions as well, so it'll have some closed captions, and transcript will be good. Yes. Should record. Perfect. Okay. All right. There's still a lot of people coming in, so let's give everyone a few minutes. Adam, how's work today, man? It's good, man. I know, Wally and we've been nonstop on the market today. I was looking at, I'm like over the moon about JamCat. This was incredible. This was unbelievable. This was like the fastest 30x I think I've ever seen in my entire life. And it was all because Kobe had bought it. But I'm proud to say that I bought it before, before he did, because I just liked it. I mean, who doesn't love this adorable cat who's like constantly bobbing and weaving and just vibing, right? I mean, it's hilarious. It's like the funniest thing ever. And you know what we found out is that apparently this cat is called Tuk Tuk. Tuk Tuk or Tuk Tuk. I can't, I've spent like hours trying to figure it out. I don't know where it's come from or where its roots are, but see, can't stop jamming, won't stop jamming. It's just, hilarious. And then there was another one that didn't go as planned, which was Fart Cat, which I still think that's the funniest name of a project. So, I mean, it did nothing. It was a complete, and it's not a rug. It's just didn't materialize, didn't go anywhere. But to me, I still think this thing has legs. I swear. It's a fat cat that farts. I mean, I don't know how much more of like a compelling meme narrative you want beyond that. I know, it's amazing. Okay, wait, I got some questions here. Is there, yes, and then Vanessa, you can, okay, yeah, that's probably the best way. Vanessa, do you have a question? You can unmute, right, automatically? Yeah, everyone can, I've said it now where everyone can unmute themselves and speak at any time. Okay. Lloyd, thank you for joining so early, man. Incredibly early. In New Zealand? Yeah, then you're wide awake. Okay, no worries, Vanessa. No problem at all. All right. Should we start or should we give everyone a minute or two? It's already like 3:09. Let's give them 2-3 more minutes. So what I wanted to go through today, I think honestly, based upon the results of the poll, and this is exactly why I always do polls, is I can see that practically everyone already knows exactly how to use and set up a hot wallet, like MetaMask, Phantom, Soulflare, right? Those are all different variations of hot wallets, hot swap wallets. And most of those are just like browser extensions built into Google Chrome. But for those of you who don't know what it is, that's what it is, right? So there's two types of wallets. There's a hot wallet and there's a cold wallet. And then the hot wallet is considerably less secure than the cold wallet, right? And the point is, and the reason why that is because the hot wallet is integrated into your browser, right? And it's constantly connected to the internet. And then the cold wallet is completely disconnected from any type of internet connection, right? There's no connectivity whatsoever. So it's one step or two steps or even three steps removed from a live connection, right? And anything closer to the internet, you have to be as distant as possible. And the more distant you are, the more safe you are, right? So how you set up these wallets is you basically just go to Chrome Marketplace, right? It's very simple. And then you go to the web store and then you just type in MetaMask. MetaMask is like the biggest wallet for usually for like Ethereum and for Arbitrum and Optimism. Those are like the major blockchains. All you do is just install it, right? And then when you install it, you set up a wallet. It's very simple. It's like step-by-step instructions can be done like in 1 minute on YouTube. Like it's not complicated at all. But once you have your wallet set up and you do the same thing for Phantom. So why I like Phantom and I like MetaMask, I like both of them. Phantom supports Solana and Ethereum and Bitcoin, right? But it primarily started as a Solana-based wallet. But it's really good because it's just very convenient and it's like compatible with most systems, so and most blockchains. So I think this is definitely like a good starting point. But once you have this wallet set up, you basically deposit funds from your centralized exchange account, like from Coinbase or Binance or Bitstamp or Kraken, right? You deposit Ethereum or Solana or Arbitrum, right, directly onto these wallets. And then once you have the wallet set up and you have funds deposited and everything is ready to go, then you're ready to enter on-chain, right? So I've counted it looks like there's a handful of people who've never done that before, but just it's not difficult. Okay, so let me just, before I move beyond that, are there any questions about that at all? Is there anything that's like not clear about why, hot wallets are more dangerous than, okay. Did you check out Rabi? Yeah, so Rabi wallet is also very good, right? That's this one here. I don't know if you can see that. I think you should be able to see that. Yeah, so it's right here. It's on this extension bar. So the Rabi wallet is good because it also has a built-in contract vulnerability revoking function. So what that means is basically whenever you're having a wallet, whenever you have a wallet set up, and whenever you're connecting it to Uniswap or you're connecting it to Radium, you always want to make sure that you revoke the rights for that wallet to connect to that exchange. That's like very, very, very important. And what we use for that is revoke cash, right? And that's just one. This is one example, but I like revoke cash. I trust it. It's never failed me. But basically how it works, you see, I already have my wallet set up on it. And all you do is you go to revoke.cash, you connect your wallet, you go to your approvals, and then you go and remove any connections. Hey, Wally, go ahead. You guys have been sharing my screen. Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, perfect. Can you see my screen perfectly now? Okay, good. So let me just at a high level again. So I go to the Chrome Web Store, and then I type in MetaMask, and go to the wallet, install it. You're up and running. And then the same thing for Phantom. You go to the marketplace, you install it, you deposit funds, then you connect that wallet onto a decentralized exchange like Uniswap, SushiSwap, PancakeSwap, etc. And then same thing with Rabi wallet. So if I want to use Ethereum, I can use Ethereum. If I want to use Solana, I could use Solana. It's not, there's no, that's really it. Like it's fairly straightforward. So for example, once you have it set up, you basically will be able to, and I'll show you. So you would be able to go here to your wallet, and you'll be able to actually see your tokens, right? And you can also go and swap and bridge and send and receive funds directly from the MetaMask wallet. It's the exact same thing for Phantom as well. So that's basically how it's done. I mean, it's literally as simple as that. And then let me see if there's any questions. So yeah, I've checked out Rabi. I found it easier for beginners because most chains are already integrated, absolutely. And then I had a cell phone wallet for HNT Helium 900, but they pulled it offline and started a new one. I missed the deadline date to convert. What can I do now? Yeah, so this is so I don't personally like mobile wallets that much. I have MetaMask set up on my iPhone and it works very conveniently, but I don't hold significant funds on any mobile wallets or hot wallets. Usually my limit is like 1,000 to 10,000 absolute maximum. Just like the same reason why I don't hold more than 10,000 on a centralized exchange. I hold all that on cold wallets because I just don't, I'm not able to like sleep peacefully at night at ease, like knowing that that I have more than 10,000 on a centralized exchange or on a hot wallet because they're constantly being hacked, right? And when your computer is compromised, all your hot wallets can be compromised. So that's very, very important to remember, right? So yeah, set up wallets, and then you didn't see what I was showing you at the beginning, but basically what I wanted to go through today was, I think most of you, we can skip most of this because it looks like you already know some of it around like what is on-chain trading, how do you access it, what's a smart contract, like what are blockchain explorers. I think you mostly all know that. But for those of you who don't know, how this works is that whenever you execute a transaction, right? So if I go to, so I'll show you a blockchain explorer, right? So you can go to Etherscan, and basically this is a blockchain explorer for the Ethereum blockchain. And you can see all of the transactions being made every single day, right? Every second of the day, you have transactions here being executed. And so these are like minor transactions, right? You can see it labeled here. And every time that you're sending or receiving funds, or you're sending and receiving any type of asset on the Ethereum blockchain, it'll show up on Etherscan, right? So this is why it's very, very, very important you learn how to study and analyze the blockchain as best as possible using the blockchain explorer. So there's Etherscan, and then there's SolScan, right? And SolScan is just going to basically allow you to look at the Solana blockchain, right? And why it's helpful, it's also very, very helpful just because you're able to also get like a huge amount of statistics on it. And you can just see like, okay, is the Ethereum blockchain, is it growing? Is it not growing? Is it, you know, what's the daily transactions? Like, this is like one of the most important metrics, right? Is this blockchain actually growing, or is it mostly just stagnating, right? And you can see it's mostly clearly just stagnating on a transaction basis. And then the same thing for Solana, right? So that's basically really, I don't think you need to know anything more than that. And then we'll go through like real examples. And then risks and opportunities we'll talk through, but I think we can probably just go right to step 2. So basically the second part I wanted to show was how to set up a soft wallet. We did that. I really, really need to make sure everyone understands what MEV bot protection is. So I feel like a lot of people don't know what MEV bot protection is and how to revoke contracts, but I'll do that after. So this to me is like probably one of the most important principles to understand and like make sure that you know how to do, because this is the only way you're going to protect yourself from being basically front run by whales, right? So what happens on chain is that whenever you're trying to execute a swap, right? So if I'm going on trading terminal, so I'm going to use DEX Screener. This is like an example of a trading terminal. And I want to buy, let's say I want to buy just JamCat on the Solana blockchain, right? What I would do is you have 2 options. You can just buy directly, connect your wallet, and then you can buy it. Or you can copy it, go to Jupiter Exchange, right? And then Jupiter Exchange is one of the main Solana decentralized exchange like aggregators. It basically brings all the DEXs together. Most of you already know what DEXs are, so I think we can like move past through this quickly. But the beauty of this is that I can then say, I want to go and sell my USDC, or I want to buy some with my USDT. I want to buy X token, where you're pasting in the contract address, right? So when you're connecting your wallet and you're buying something, you're also giving permissions to the Jupiter Exchange to always connect to your wallet, right? And then you're also giving permission to Jupiter Exchange and to the contract itself to have some control over your tokens. And And you don't want that, right? You don't want that for a long term. So that's why I keep saying, like, revoking the permissions is one of the most important principles in on-chain trading. So whenever, just remember, anytime you're connecting to a DEX, even if you use DEXs, for a year or two, always remember to go back to revoke cache, and then go back to, there's another one for Solana as well. I don't want to like overwhelm you with information, but there's another one for Solana, Fox, right? And you could connect to that one, and then you can revoke permissions. It's as simple as that. So so that's that. Now about MEV bot protection. So the reason why you really want to protect yourself from this is you don't want to be sandwiched. So I'm sure many of you have seen, like, there's the guy Jared, right? So Jared is like the on-chain person who front runs everyone, and he's made like tens of millions doing this. And what he is he's basically an MEV bot, right? And yeah, FJ, exactly. So I don't like him, but what he does is he exploits people by basically sandwiching them, right? So I'll give you a simple example of what that means. So MEV bot means miner extractable value. So what they're doing is the Jareds of the world are going and paying miners a bonus to make sure that they can put their transaction ahead of everyone else, right? So they want to get in front of the line. So if you're trying to buy, so if you're on Uniswap and you want to buy a coin, okay, and then you're not, this is the problem, right? So let's say you're connecting to a wallet. So let me make sure I'm connecting here safely. So 1 second. Okay, so let's say you connect a wallet, you click MetaMask, and then connection attempted failed. Why did that happen? Never seen that before. Let me try again. Ah, I know why. Okay, so you click MetaMask, click the wallet, confirm, and now you're connected, right? So if you're trying to execute, like if you're trying to buy, let's say, Arbitrum, or let's say Aave, right? So if you're trying to buy a little bit of Aave with some ETH, and I want to buy 0.01, right? If you're buying basically $30 worth of Aave, you can review the transaction and you can swap it. Problem though is that somebody can go right in front of you, buy the $30 worth of Aave that you want, and then turn right back around and sell it to you for $34, right? And then they'll pocket the $4 difference. This is very, very important to understand, right? This is why having front run protection in the form of using an MEV bot layer of protection is critical. And the way you do that is in MetaMask, you basically add a custom network called MEV Blocker. So mevblocker.io. The easiest way to do that is go to mevblocker.io. Okay, and all you do, and this was acquired by CowSwap, but basically all you do here is you click Get Protected, and then it's as simple as just clicking this button, right? It's just this Get Protected button. And then this allows you to make sure that rather than processing your transaction directly on the Ethereum blockchain, you're actually routing it directly to the MEV Blocker network, right? The node itself, and it's called an RPC node. You don't need to know the specifics unless you want to. I can go into more detail, but that's really how you're doing. So you're just basically routing your transactions directly to the MEV Blocker, which provides a layer of protection. And then 9 times out of 10, it'll help you reduce the amount of times that you're going to be front run. And what happens when you get front run, right? What happens is you're paying a premium for something that you really shouldn't be paying a premium for. Like, why do you want to be paying 1 to 50% more than you should, right? So this is not a huge problem with these examples, right, that I'm showing you here with Aave. But if you're buying a micro cap, a small cap, it absolutely is a problem. Like, you can get front run. And I've seen people who are trading with 7 figures who get front run 7 figures. And I'm not exaggerating. You can see them in the blockchain. Like, I swear you can see that on the block. Everything is completely transparent. I've seen people get wiped out. Like, they get wiped out because they either forget to turn on the MEV bot protection, or they take it for granted that they don't have to protect themselves, and they just get, their behinds handed to them, right? And they really learn a valuable lesson of making sure that they have, proper MVV bot protection, right? So, yes. Are there any questions on that? Let me just take a minute. So there's one question from Taha. Can I use mevblocker.io for a Phantom wallet as well for SOL related transactions? So yes and no, right? So you can use an mevblocker.io for executing Ethereum transactions, right, on Phantom. But the good news is you don't actually need that as much on the Solana blockchain. The reason for that, I mean, you're asking me, so I'll go into more detail, right? So there's, in the Ethereum blockchain, there's something called a mempool, right? So it's like think of it as like a temporary holding area before the transaction is executed. So it's like a backlog, right? It's just like if you're going to the doctor's office and you have this waiting room where everyone's just patiently waiting and they're waiting for the physician to come in and take care of them. That's exactly what a mempool is, right? It's a memory pool. It's a backlog of transactions that are waiting to be processed by the miners and by the validators. And in Solana, that's not really a problem because they're processing transactions so incredibly rapidly that there actually really isn't any backlog. It's everything is being done in sequential order, right? So they're processing and executing transactions on the fly, right? So MEV bot protection is not a huge problem. But however, on the Solana blockchain, there's something called JITO bundles. I don't want to go into like crazy detail here, but it's something that you really do need to understand if you're processing like large transactions with volume on the Solana blockchain, is learn about bundles. And there's a company called Tech Radar or Trench Radar. So Trench Radar is good in identifying bundles. And how you would do it is, like, let's say here, right? So JamCat, go into Trench Radar, and let's see how much bundles, how much is bundling considered a potential problem, right? And it'll show you a bubble map. So it'll produce a bubble map and it'll show you how bundled the transactions are. And bundling is essentially a form of front running, right? It's just Solana's like version of it. And you want to try to avoid coins that have a very high rate of bundles that are still live. If there was like some memory of a bundle, that's not a huge problem. But if there's still active bundles, then I would be careful, right? Because that basically means that they're always going to be able to really just sandwich you and to be able to get you when you're trying to sell and take profit. They're gonna take out more and more and more of the profit away from you, right? So bundles and like making sure you have protection. The best way to avoid bundles and to work around them is just basically process like multiple transactions in like smaller orders, right? So when if you're using Jupyter, or if you're using like a Telegram trading bot, right? Like a Maestro bot or a Banana Gun bot, just make sure you're executing smaller size transactions, and then you won't suffer so much from like the complications that come from bundles or JITO bundles. And that applies on the way in, and it also applies on the way out, right? So as you're buying a token, and it also applies as you are selling a token. So hopefully that makes sense. Is there any questions about that at all? Okay, no, you're very welcome, Taha. And then another question from Mustafa. How are they front running though? Do they work directly with the miners? Will the ecosystems move to reduce? I think I've answered that, brother. I mean, it's exactly what they're doing. They're basically sweetening and they're really just incentivizing the miners to make sure that they prioritize and order their transaction ahead of everyone else, right? It's opportunistic predatory based trading. That's exactly how it works. So they just pay a much higher transaction fee, and they set their slippage to 65%. But more importantly, these people who are doing MEV bots are usually arbitragers. So arbitragers are people who are buying and selling like high frequency trading. So they're buying and selling rapidly, and they're just pocketing small cents on the dollar. But the small cents on the dollar adds up to like an exorbitant amount at the end of the day, right? So hopefully that makes sense. You're welcome. You're welcome. What else? What else do you need to know? Yes. Um, it is, but only it's exactly what I was mentioning. It's like it's only helpful if you're really processing with size. Like they're not going to be interested in people who are doing, you know, like $100, $200. But if you're using like $10,000, I would absolutely turn this on. And but you're also going to pay a little bit. So every you have to pay a small fee to be able to break up and like fractionalize your order across multiple transactions, right? Um, and then the other solution too, by the way, is to if you're really concerned about MEV, like you know, basically the risks of them in Solana is just break up your size into like 4 different wallets and then offboard that way. Yeah, otherwise, they're going to target you from the beginning. If you're just accumulating a coin over and over again, and you have like 10,000 or 20,000 or 100,000 in the particular coin, they're going to target you, and their machines are much faster than yours. That's the thing. Like when one of the questions was, how are they front running those? So they're front running because they have access to superior infrastructure. They have access to superior computer servers. They have access to superior internet connections because they geolocate, right? They have computing infrastructure that is right next to where the DEXs are hosted or where the centralized exchanges are hosted, right? And so they're intervening much faster than everyone else, right? So you're not going to be able to outperform them that way. So the only way you can outperform them is you have to use some type of MEV bot protection, right? For Ethereum. But for Solana, it's again not a huge problem just because of how quickly transactions are processed here. I mean, Solana is obviously considerably more centralized than Ethereum. There's a reason for that. There's a reason why this is more of a problem with MEV bot versus for Ethereum versus Solana, right? Any other questions? Again, like I want you to ask questions. So we have plenty of time. So if you want to ask a question, you can put your hand up and then I can mark you, or just unmute your mic and jump in. It's a lot better when you ask questions. Otherwise, or I can just keep going. Okay. So Raju, what's up, brother? It's nice to see your name, man. Does the MEV bot protection slow transactions? Yes, it does. Of course, it absolutely does. But it's like you have to have the trade-off, right? Trade-off between convenience and security. And convenience is speed and inexpensive, right? So it's like high speed and less expensive. But then you have security, and the security is considerably better. Nothing, like 3 seconds, Wally. I mean, the time difference is negligible, especially for our purposes, But there's also, so the challenge, okay, because I know some of you are going to ask this. What we do in Blockcircle, I probably should have spent a minute introducing what we do, because most of you don't know what Blockcircle is, so I should probably spend a minute talking about that. So basically, what Blockcircle does, I'm the CEO and co-founder of Blockcircle. So my business partner and good friend Alex, who's Crypto Hunter, and we run Blockcircle, and we're basically an alpha community that is powered also by alpha tools. And the alpha community is a complete global group, and we're made of alpha hunters, traders, quantitative scientists, financial engineers, researchers, right? And whales, insiders, et cetera, and founders. So there's a lot of founders, like layer 1, layer 2 blockchain founders, protocol founders that are in Blockcircle. And then we have our main group is in Discord. And basically what we do is we focus on trying to find undervalued alpha, right? So undervalued crypto. That is our bread and butter. That is our number one focus above all else, is making sure that we find projects that are as early as possible. So for example, we found KeyCat really early on. So KeyCat is the number one meme coin on the base blockchain. And we did really well on that, right? So those are the kinds of projects that we're trying to find in the meme space, because that's obviously what's hot right now. And then we also include, we have our momentum trading engine, which is, think of it as like a fully configurable system to help you enter and exit trades. That's done really, really well. It did like a 70x since 2023. Those are real, gains, not just theoretical gains. They're actual applied gains that I've executed trades on that everyone has access to. And then we post them here, but you can, more importantly, you should, do them yourself directly. And then we have community trades, and we just have a lot. I mean, you're basically talking about a group that's almost 1,000. Globally, it is 1,000. And really, yeah, we have like in-depth market analysis. We share everything in terms of our read on the market. Like we called the bottom in 2022. We called the top in March 2024. I was yelling from the mountaintops, it's time to take profit. It's time to de-risk. And then in 2022, we were shorting all the way down to December. And then we started accumulating Bitcoin and Ethereum, and, we did well. So it's like a family, everything we're doing is like a family. And yep, that's basically what that's really what we're about. And then we have our alpha analysis app itself, which has all of like the main metrics on chain and off chain that are really helpful, being able to track like Bitcoin Wikipedia page, views, like investor sentiment. It's all here, and I'll go through it because that's part of finding alpha. Is I'll go through like real examples. And then we also have our course. So I'll show you how to access all of this. We've opened it up completely. It's completely for free. We don't charge for like education and learning and development. It's entirely accessible for everyone. And over the years, we've had over 5,000 people who've actually taken some variation of our course. And we just relaunched this one completely from scratch. And really what it does is it covers everything about on-chain and off-chain trading and investing. And you just go to learn.blockcircle.com. That's it. So that's literally, you don't even have to register at this point. Like when I say we've opened it up, we've literally opened it up. And and then yes, we just have one. It's just Blockcircle Premium, and the pricing hasn't changed. It's been the exact same since 2017. Even if I end up having like 100 million, 300 million, I'll always have Blockcircle, because that to me forces me to stay on top of every single micro trend in the market and top of every investment narrative. And that's where Crypto Hunter comes into the picture. He's incredibly talented and gifted in finding what's the next investment narrative. And that's huge, right? Because you want to get on top of the money ball and then on top of the attention ball ahead of everyone. That to me is probably the single most important point when it comes to finding alpha early. I mean, that's why you're here, is trying to stay on top of every investment narrative before it's forming. So that's where I think we excel really well in. So like Crypto Hunter, for example, he was on top of the entire Telegram trade execution bot like movement with Unibot. He was on top of the 0x0 privacy-based coins. He was on top of like the mimetic movements, right? He was buying like the first meme coin on top of the first meme chain, right? Doge chain. So he was buying like Omnom, the 300x on that. He was buying Welsh. Welsh was like the first meme coin on top of the first blockchain on top of Bitcoin, right? So being on top of those investment narratives to me is step number one of how you're going to find alpha ahead of everyone else, right? So right now everyone's about memes, but like we're focusing on memes as well, but we've been doing that for a long time, right? It's just not like we just stumbled into it and just throwing, a few dollars to random positions and then, spray and pray and hoping that something works. And yeah, no, it's within premium. So everything is within premium. And the reason we do that is because if we just have it open for free, then everyone is going to go in there and they're just going to shill and promote, and they're going to pump and dump projects. And we don't allow that. We don't allow affiliate links. We don't allow referral links. We're the only like real alpha community that's completely global, that doesn't have, that's not just based in English. And if you open it to everyone, like we're very specific about who we allow, and we don't allow everyone. So there's many people that I have to reject because I know they have a tainted history. We don't allow like pump and dumpers. We don't allow shillers. We don't allow dishonest promoters. We don't allow affiliate links. We don't partner with exchanges, right? Like we're very strict on that. We refuse to partner with any exchanges or any actual protocols, or we don't partner with blockchain companies. We never accept any kind of like advisorship tokens or promotional tokens. Like we have no conflicts of interest, right? And you can see from the people here, like we don't ever have any biases. That is like absolutely critical. Number one is that's why, to me personally, I can't trust anyone very much in this sector, is because 99.9% of people do accept affiliate contracts, right? And partner with exchanges and are constantly pushing volume to those platforms where we don't. And that's very, very important, right? That's why, I mean, it's 2024. Like this has taken us a long time to build. And we're proud of what we built. So yeah, so that's basically my background. And then my background is basically, I worked in corporate America for a long time. I used to work at Yahoo, then I worked for Scotiabank, and then I worked at Goldman Sachs, and then I worked at American Express for a while, and then fell in love, had kids, and then I had basically been focusing on Blockcircle for 7 years now at this point, right? So yeah, that's my story. And then Crypto Hunter, he's the OG, so he's the original founder, and he's incredible. He's like an inspiration for me, an inspiration for everybody who's in Blockcircle. So yeah, it's really fun. All right, so let me go through other questions. Let me see what else are other people, is there anything else other people want to ask? Okay, so let's keep going. Let me go back to what I have here. Let me see if there's, okay. So we did MEV bot protection. We did revoking contracts, right? How you do that again is you go to revoke cash, you connect your wallet, right? And I'm highlighting it right here. Connect your wallet to revoke cash. You see exactly what tokens have been approved. Then individually, one by one, you revoke the approval. You revoke the permissions, right? And then the second thing you do is you go to each site and you disconnect the sites, okay? The best way and the easiest way of doing that is to literally just go in here, click the little 3 dots, and then you'll see exactly what permissions you have, okay? And when you go to a site, you'll see whether or not your wallet's connected. And if your wallet's connected, you have to be very careful, right? You have to make sure that you, again, make sure to disconnect the wallet from the actual exchange or the app itself. And then secondary, you revoke permissions asset by asset. If that's not clear, just ask, please. If it's confusing, just ask. If you want me to go through it again, I'll go through it again. I don't want to bore you though. So, I know that's not like the most like stimulating content, but it's like critical. It's critical. And please, like, believe me when I say it's critical. We talked about what our DEX is, how to use Uniswap. We can skip all that. Okay, good. So these are my favorite workshops. Now we can actually go through like the meaty things. So let me make sure everybody understands what a trading terminal is, because I don't think everyone has used one. So there's trading terminals, and actually I go through it in the course. So let me show you. In the course, if you go to section 4, there's an entire section on on-chain trading. And this part here, Introduction to Trading Terminals, I go through this in detail. So I go through really what is a trading terminal, how to actually use it, how to interact with it, which ones are considered safe, which ones are considered not safe, which ones to avoid. But really the main ones, and everything is date and timestamp, so you know exactly how to actually interact with the content. But the ones that I like, right? The 2 that I like the most are DEX Screener, so dexscreener.com, and then I also love Gecko Terminal. So Gecko Terminal to me is my personal favorite because it has much more functionality that is built into it. So, but for most people, I think DEX Screener is like a very good starting point. Gecko Terminal is probably a little overwhelming for some people. It's overwhelming for me. Just like information overhaul, right? Overload. It's a little nauseating, like how many things are happening at once. but you get used to it, and then you end up really liking it. So I'll go through DEX Screener first, but it's the same functionality. Like really what you're doing is you go to dexscreener.com, and let me like post it as a comment there. And then I'll post the Gecko terminal also so everybody can see it. So here, so that's Gecko terminal. And okay, perfect. So on DEX Screener, all you're doing is you're basically seeing all of the tokens that are trending, and then you can run filters on them. So if I want to say, let's find a coin that has at least 100,000 liquidity and maybe a market cap of a maximum of 10 million, because I don't want the absolute large caps or mega large caps. I'm mostly just looking for micro caps and small caps. That's my specialty. That's like our specialty. That's the specialty of the Alpha Group, right? But this is a very good starting point. So look for projects with at least 100,000 of liquidity, and then with a maximum market cap of 10 million, and then set the, let's say minimum age is, let's say like 96 hours. Let's say at least 1,000 transactions, and then you can be as sophisticated as you want, but volume, I want to probably keep the volume to like 30,000 minimum, and then that's probably good enough. And then this will now show me which coins fit that particular filter, and then by different blockchains, right? So that's really what it is. That's where you're using DEX Screener for. It's incredibly powerful because it's an aggregator. It's bringing in all the information across all the blockchains that you could possibly imagine, and it's all here. So if I can go and I can see all of the blockchains would be on the left-hand side, right? And I'll show you that after. But so now I can see that SofaCat liquidity is 114,000, and it has 29,000, not holders, but it has 29,000 people who have bought and sold, right? And then market cap is 1 million. It's already gone up 5x today. Transactions are 39,000 in the last day. That's good. That's obviously very active. 600 means that it's already trending on DEX Screener, which is good. So obviously, it has a huge amount of attention, a huge amount of interest. People are obviously speculating on it. And really, the process is just depends how aggressive or how selective you want to be. But this is how you find alpha, right? Is you literally have to go through project by project and look for anything that looks particularly intriguing, right? So like Peanut's brother, right? We were on top of this in Blockcircle, like all of the last like few days, right? And then we also have somebody who's literally named Wally. So we were like, okay, we obviously have to have some exposure to that. But Tyson, right? So the huge Mike Tyson fight on Friday, that's been trending like crazy these days. So that's all booming as like the fight's approaching in less than 24 hours, right? Or I think it's like almost like 30 hours at this point. So just this is what you're doing, is that you're literally looking project by project and you're trying to find anything that's piquing your interest. And I'll go through how to do that like in a more sophisticated way. So let me refresh this. Okay. So you see, these are all the blockchains. Hey, go ahead, please. Yeah. So these ones here on the screen, right? So 100,000 minimum liquidity. Let's say 10 million market cap as a max, either fully diluted valuation or base market cap. And then pair age 96 hours, depends, but you can have it as its minimum 96 hours, right? So at least it's survived, about 4 days or so at these levels, and still has, I increased this from 1,000 to 10,000, right? And what else? Volume, I put 30,000. That's very low. We can put it to let's put that to 100,000, and then let's apply it. Now you'll see, just by doing that, we probably have filtered out even more noise, because the goal is to remove noise. There's an exorbitant amount of projects that that are being listed every day. There is literally 100,000 tokens being listed on Pump.Fun a day. Okay, and only a handful of those are actually going to succeed in breaking $1 million, right, a day. And that's if you're lucky. So being able to identify those is like a painstaking process. I can't do it myself, right? That's the whole point of the alpha community. That's why I genuinely mean it when I say, even if I end up having $1 billion, I will never leave Blockcircle, because to me, we're constantly sharing like alpha, right? It's the power of collective intelligence. So you're not going to be able to do this by yourself, but imagine you doing this, and then you have 1,000 others doing the exact same thing every day. You're bound to uncover gems, right? That's why we've been finding so many projects that have done tremendously well, is because we're all going through this process step by step, right? So yeah, that's pretty much how it works. That's like the base filter, and then we'll go through like real projects. So how I go through these projects, let's say we go through Peanut, but we know Peanut, we know that this is clearly a copycat, right? And let's go through Peanut's brother. So the first thing is, this is the claim, is that, I don't know how many of you know Peanut the squirrel and that whole saga that happened, but basically there was this in real life squirrel named Peanut, and he was unfortunately like murdered in New York, and he had a massive following in real life, massive following across social media, across multiple platforms, and people just felt absolutely just devastated by it. So they created a coin on Pump.Fun called Peanut the Squirrel, and we bought it. So I bought it. I'm very proud of this. It's like my second most profitable trade, right? And it did 800x. And I showed that. I showed all the proof of it. But the only way I found that, I didn't find that myself. I found that because we have, let me show you. I think, Rania, you were saying I should show this. You're right. This is the perfect way of showing it. In our portfolio tool, we have an alpha hunter. This is a new tool we're building. This is like very much a prototype, so version 1. But these are addresses of whales, market insiders, and profitable alpha traders that have a tremendous track record of success. And some of them, and you can see, some of them literally have, so I'll show you, literally have a 60 to 90% win rate, which means out of 100 trades, 60 to 90% of those trades are profitable, right? Where they go above break even. And these ones that may not be accurate, that they have maximum profitability, which means that they're riding the winners for as long as possible and cutting the losers as early as possible. These are some of the earliest investors in Go, in Retardio, and Geeko, and Whiff, right? And Mudang, and Nero. These are the wallets that you want to follow. They obviously have some access to superior information, right? And to me, that is by far one of the most clear predictors of success in finding alpha, is having access to market insiders, right? Insider tips. Like there's genuinely no better way to find undervalued crypto projects that have either fundamental intrinsic value, or have high mimetic value, or have very active and thriving social communities, and then accessing people who already are involved in that project in some way, directly or indirectly. Directly in the sense that they've actually have money invested, and then some don't, right? But are supporting the community just philanthropically, right? Altruistically. That's what you're trying to find, right? So these whales, this has taken us, I mean, months and months to identify these wallets. So what I was doing, I was tracking. So I have trackers built that are tracking specific wallets, and I'm filtering out a lot of the noise from those transactions, and I'm only focusing on new token purchases from these insiders and profitable traders. And I saw immediately that they were buying Peanut, so I bought it, right? So that was as simple as that. And then I went to sleep, and then when I woke up, I realized, did some more investigation, and that model's worked, right? Put a few dollars in, and then when you have time, go back and revisit what you were buying, and what the whale was buying, and what the insider was buying, and you investigate. And is there merit to what he's buying? So clearly there was merit to what he's buying because he or she is buying because it was Peanut the Squirrel. It's based upon an in real life meme. It's trending. There's a huge emotional and sentimental factor built into it. The community was exploding. The number of holders was exploding. Interest was riding high on Google Trends. Popularity scores were exploding. Overall search demand has exploded. So it's like check, 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 right? So put more money in. So that's worked for me. That's worked really well for others in Blockcircle as well, right? So this Alpha Hunter is just one way that I think makes our lives a lot easier. The challenge with this, though, is that there's a lot of noise. Like, so some of these people are basically, like some of them are extremely disciplined with taking profit, and that's good. Like we were watching Kobe's wallet, so we knew exactly when he was buying JamCat, but many of us had already bought that at that point because we were tracking other wallets, right? And we're doing our own research. But there's also these people who are like sniping block zeros and block ones, which basically means that they're sniping launches. And that has a very high failure rate, but they're very, very good at cutting those, right? Very quickly. So I think that's important. And then the other thing too is some people are like market makers. Some of these people are actual market makers where they're injecting liquidity into a liquidity pool, or they're buying and selling to just drum up the volume. So you have to be very careful. That's why it's taken so long to come up with this list, is because I have to remove all of those, right? And but yeah, I mean, this is version 1 of the Alpha Hunter. Version 2 is going to be on the web application, and then it'll allow you to actually filter different wallets by profitability and by performance. To me, this potentially has a chance to trump everything else that we're doing. It's up there with the momentum trading engine just because of the actual returns that it's produced, right? So this is how we found Peanut. This is how we found Fred the Raccoon. I don't know if you know that or not, but Raccoon, he was like Peanut the squirrel's friend. And so you have like, Peanut, you have Fred, we have like Jam the cat, we have Retardio, we have Normalia, we have Sydney, right? That's how I did a 30x on Sydney, was through the Alpha Hunter, and I was following an address. But then rather than just trying to copy their one trade, I went and put a lot more and then took profit aggressively. And that's really what it is. So, all right. So there's some questions. Thank God the chain provides us with information like that. Exactly. I mean, that's 100%. That's exactly it. It's completely open and transparent. So why would I focus my time and attention? I have to be careful here because there's members in Blockcircle who are running centralized exchanges. But why would I spend my time focusing on a centralized exchange when very clearly the future is decentralized? Like, there's no question in my mind that decentralized exchanges, spot and perp-based ones, perpetual futures ones, are the future. And that's what I'm focusing my research and time on, right? Because everything is completely transparent. I can take this wallet and I can open it and I can look at exactly what they're holding. And if they don't have a significant balance, so they have 3.9 million. So it's clearly they're still using it. They are clearly a huge bull with Geeko Cat, right? GOAT, USA coin, which is a political coin, so political neutral coin. That was a big narrative that we were focusing on, and we minted on that. Pups, obviously everyone knows. Peanut, we just talked about ad nauseum. Queen, the little like Do Queen is different than Gweek. There was like Gweek the gecko. So there's all these coins. Now, why is the Alpha Hunter so powerful? Is it's helpful historically, and also it's helpful in the past, and it's also helpful in the future. It's very helpful to see what these whales are holding. Like, why do they have so much conviction in Gecko? Why do they have so much conviction in Goat, right? And Goat CS Maximus, like the AI-based system. Why do they have conviction in USA? So, if like 10 whales all have high conviction in 3 of the same coins, then there's some confluence there, right? There's convergence of interest. And you want to get into that, right? You don't want to just be getting in because some, a-hole like KOL and mass promoter is pushing a coin down your throat because he's going to dump on you, right? This is, I mean this respectfully. Just please do yourself a favor and do not allow yourself to be swayed and influenced by KOLs, which are key opinion leaders, right? Who have like hundreds of thousands of followers on Twitter, because they invariably will dump on you, right? And it's just how it is. It's just how it is. So that's just the absolute truth. What if they know we can track them and how they fool us with some shitcoin? Exactly. So there's wallets that to me met my criteria. So have high 90% win rate, have established portfolio of like 100 to a million plus, right? Who were early entrants in like top 5 ranking and trending coins, right? So I had like very strict criteria. Did not participate in any honeypots or any projects that were clearly cabal coins, and I'll talk about that, right? So I had all these criteria, but then at the end, I could see that clearly this whale is just, he knows or she knows that people are copy trading them, right? And all they're doing is they're buying and selling junk to go and dump on the people who are copying them. And they don't feel any remorse. There's no hard feelings for them, because to them, they're like, you know what? I never asked you to copy me. Like, so I'm just going to buy junk coins and I'm going to dump them on you because I know that you're always going to be one step behind, right? So you have to be very careful. So I've done my best to exclude those type of opportunistic alpha traders here. But some of them turn evil, you know? So like, even though you may be a very kind-hearted person, a lot of times you become a POS, right? Over time. So some of these traders are dishonest and you have to be very careful. So you have to stay on top of it. The other thing is everyone is just focused on Solana. I don't like to focus on one chain. I like to focus on multiple. So we trade on Solana, Ethereum, Arbitrum, Degen, which is like the layer 3, Base, right? So we were trading on Base way before. It's important to like stay on top of other blockchains. Tron, like those are really the chains that you want to focus on. So what's another question? No question, just a comment. This information is very useful. Thank you for walking through with us. You're very welcome, brother. You're very welcome. But Anya, I'm the idiot who faded all of those. Never again. No, that's not you. You're not an idiot for fading these. You're just, the thing is you're sometimes a little bit gun shy because you did like a few back-to-back trades that got rugged, but that's just the name of the game. Like the rule of thumb is to make sure you don't allocate an exorbitant amount of funds to any one coin. You have to hedge your risk. You have to diversify. You can't put all your eggs in one particular meme. It just doesn't work that way, because the chances are they're bound to fail. From what I've analyzed, you have a 92% chance of failing on a meme coin, even the ones that go from Pump.Fun and go through the graduation process. So basically how it works is, let me try to like, maybe I can, yeah, I should probably explain this. That would probably be a good use of time. Let me just do a whiteboard here. But basically what I wanted to show you is there's coins that, like what is Pump.Fun? So I wonder if does everyone know what Pump.Fun is? Let me make sure. Does anyone not know what Pump.Fun is? If you do, just please say something so I can know that you don't know what that is. And if you don't, then I'll just explain it. Okay, I think everyone knows what Pump.Fun is. But anyways. Yes. So basically Pump.Fun is, it's basically a platform that allows you to list tokens. So if you wanted to create Mama Coin, Papa Coin, Peanut the Squirrel Coin, like Fred the Raccoon Coin, you can create it for free, or preferably for 0.5 Sol, you can have a few percent control of the supply as you launch it. And then basically once you start a new coin, it's very simple. You literally go to Pump.Fun, start a new coin, connect your wallet, and then put the name, put the ticker, and then put the description, put the, add your photos and so forth. And then you can be more sophisticated and add the Twitter link, Telegram link, website, and then you create the coin. And then it'll ask you, do you want to buy 0.5 Sol of this particular coin? And then if you do, you end up buying it at a market cap of 6,500, right? That's the initial market cap, like as the token's issued. And then if the token then grows, right? If there's enough demand in the token itself, what ends up happening is it goes through a graduation process. And once it graduates, it means that the market cap has grown to 69,000. So once the market cap grows from 6,500 to 69,000, it graduates. And then that means the bonding curve finishes. So you don't need to know this. All you need to know is that you create a token on Pump.Fun, you grow it from 6,500 to 69,000. It becomes, then it goes through a graduation process. It's like a ceremony. It takes that liquidity, it moves it over to a decentralized exchange like Radium, right? Creates a liquidity pool in Radium. And Radium, again, is a competitor to Uniswap, obviously. And then once you have it in Radium, then trading opens, right? And when trading opens, that's when you still have a 92% chance of being rugged and or buying a token that doesn't succeed. This is a very important stat. This is not just some, you know, like again, it's not a theory, right? I'm telling you, this is like empirically, I've seen this with my own data. Like I'm a data scientist. Like I look at the data, there's a 92% chance you're going to get screwed. But there is an 8% chance that you find something that looks promising. And if you do, you should probably take profit aggressively on it. If it doesn't feel like it doesn't pass the smell test, or it doesn't kind of pass the stress test of surviving longer than a day. That's why when like Adam, you're asking me about the filters, right? And you're like, oh, well, why are you using 96 hours, or why are you using 100,000 in terms of volume? The reason I use those is because usually if a coin survives 3 or 4 days and it still has liquidity in its liquidity pool of at least 100,000 and transactions more than 10,000 and volume more than 50 to 100,000, chances are it probably has some legs to it. It doesn't mean it has legs. It just means it's a higher probability that it has legs. So hopefully that makes sense. But that's really how it works. So if I go back to the Canva, right? How the best way of really just like very simply explaining this is that you basically start, so token created on Pump.Fun, right? And there's 100,000. So there's 100,000 tokens being created on Pump.Fun a day. And then after Pump.Fun, then token reaches 69,000 market cap, right? And then once it reaches 69,000 market cap, it graduates. And then once it graduates, basically the liquidity pool is created on Radium or Meteora, right? So the point is it's created on a DEX. So then when trading, and then about 1 to 10 minutes later, trading begins. And then when trading begins, what ends up happening a lot of times is you get rugged. It's just, that's not a nice feeling, but that's just what ends up happening. And the way to not get rugged is you have to look for common patterns, right? And I'll go through that. But what I have noticed helps is when I go to a new coin that just gets listed on DEX Screener. So like let's see exactly what was listed on DEX Screener, and let's focus just on Solana. So if you click Solana, it'll show you what's token in the last 24 hours. So let's do last 5 minutes. Okay. So look at PepNut. Is this meeting our minimum? It was created 3 hours ago. It's already up, 40,000%, which is beyond ridiculous. So let's click it, right? Let's actually like click it and let's investigate it. So it's been 3 hours. So basically 12 o'clock my time. It has a website, Pep Not Soul. It has a Twitter, and it has a Telegram. So we'll open those 3. And then it also has, was it launched on, so usually the contract address is right here, right? And usually it ends with 4 letters called PUMP, pump. That's when you know that it was launched on Pump.Fun. The beauty of focusing on coins that are launched on Pump.Fun, right, is Pump.Fun excludes honeypots. It excludes its tokens are fairly distributed. Okay, they're initially fairly distributed, and then transparent about holding patterns, and they give us a huge amount of referential statistics. So, and I'll give you an example of what that is, right? So some of those examples is if you go to Pump.Fun, you go to a project like this is Barry. So let's look at this, right? So what are statistics that are useful here? One statistics is it tells me whether or not there's an image. There is. Is there an associated website or Telegram or Twitter? There isn't in this particular one. I can look at how many comments there are. That's a very important statistic to look at, is if there's a high level of comments and they're non-spam, that's highly relevant. If there's a high level of engagement with those comments, so like you determine that by looking at likes. If there's a high number of likes per comment and it doesn't look artificial, that's very promising. Has it actually hit King of the Hill? So basically what that means is, I'll show you right here. So if a coin makes the fastest coin that gets to 40,000+ market cap gets like anointed King of the Hill status on Pump.Fun, right? That's actually really helpful to just filter out a lot of the noise, and you can ride momentum really quickly if you focus on coins that have high comments, have high comment engagement, have King of the Hill progress status, have graduated through the process, and then have a website, have a Twitter, and have a Telegram. If it meets that criteria, and more importantly, is this holder distribution. So this holder distribution is extremely helpful to look at. What I have found is if you see the holder distribution for the top 10 being less than 60%, that's probably good, right? And if you're not sure how to do that, just generate the bubble map, and then the bubble map just shows you the holder distribution. It's just helpful. It's helpful to see. This 20.7 is, it's not this is just normal. This is like status quo. So let's remove that. But you see, there's nothing really else. There's not really anything else of concern here. This is why I keep saying that it's nice to focus on Pump.Fun coins, right? Because it's just reducing a little bit of the risk in some way that you're not going to get honeypot, right? But you're actually going to be able to sell the token. Also, the contract's renounced, right? The contract's renounced, the owner's renounced. That's very, very important. You don't see that with a lot of the other coins. So let's keep going. Let's go through PepNut, right? So PepNut, let's open up its website. So that's his website there. It looks like he's intoxicated of some, I don't know what the PepNut means. So what's the story? The future of meme coins. Layer 2 blockchain built for speed, security, low fees, and of course memes. PepNut takes powers. Token powers the entire ecosystem. You're early enough to witness, and you, with Pepe, his rightful place as king. Oh, I think this is, so, and it's usually a billion supply. That's usually how, and then it obviously doesn't have taxes. That's fine. But who is this person? Like, what is this derived from? So let's look at their Twitter. Twitter has 129 followers, but it's created in May of 2023. And it's not followed by anyone I know. So I would probably be a little careful here. The fact that it's not followed by anyone and that it's also somehow was created in May 2023 makes me a little hesitant. But I'll show you how to investigate that further. Let's look at the Telegram, 169 subscribers. Let's see here. So let's verify. Let's look at their, so they already have 1,200 members. That's actually, okay, so I have to get approved. Okay, so they approved me. Now I can look at now I can actually see, I can look at the nature of the conversation. Is it all price centric or is it actually bringing value, right? And from what I can see, it's all price centric. Bro, let's do it, bro. Everyone's just pumping it. Good job. 10 million program, LFG, message reported to admins, okay. Not really seeing anything here. because some of these 1,000 subscribers could very much just be bots. Another thing I would look at, and Adam, you were asking about this, right, is how to screen these memes. That's what I'm doing now. Another thing I would look at is I would take the contract address, right? So let's close this. Let's go back here. Let's copy the contract address. And then what we can do is we can go to Gecko Terminal, right? So geckoterminal.com. We go to the contract itself, and then let's see. So you were asking, oh wait, there's a lot of questions. Let me make sure I answer all these questions. I'll go back to those questions, but I want to ask the most recent question. How do you know if the owner or dev has renounced? So here's how you look. So basically, in DEX Screener or Gecko Terminal, there's an audit. There's a token audit area. I spend most of my time auditing tokens, okay? So how you do that is you paste in the contract, it shows the project itself, and then go down, and basically you see their Gecko Terminal score, and then it tells you how many transactions are there, what's the liquidity score, the higher the better, of course. The fact that it was created 24 hours ago is not good. And then I use some of these tools. So like bubble maps, rug check, soul sniffer, gate cap, quill check. So let me show you. So let me close this. I had that ready to go, but I'll show you actually from scratch. So here, let's do it this way. And then let me close some of these. So what you're doing is you're literally auditing, and then we can also paste it here too, but we know it's not going to be, it's probably not going to be a bundle. It's probably not going to be a bundle. So that's not a big concern. And then what else? We already saw the website. Okay. So we look at the bubble, the map itself. 5% is the actual Radium liquidity pool. That's normal. That's not a concern. One person controlling 5% is not great, but it's also not particularly concerning, especially if that's the dev. So we'll go through that. So this is, I don't like these clusters. I don't like seeing these many clusters because one cluster could potentially control, see, 3%, 5%. It's not hugely concerning, but it's not something I'm particularly excited about, seeing these many clusters. And then another thing is you can look at the rug risk here. So you can say risk analysis is 0. This is on rugcheck.xyz. This is helpful. Quickly, then go to Soul Sniffer. Soul Sniffer then tells you if there's anything concerning. So obviously low liquidity provider count is, that's normal, that's expected. Recently deployed contract, that's fine. Non-mintable, okay? So that's part of the controlling the contract. It's very important that you don't allow the developer to actually mint new tokens into circulation. That's hugely important that you don't have any token that has minting functionality unless it's built into the protocol. So I can explain, but at a high level on DEX Screener, you just scroll down, go to the audits, and then see if it's mintable. If it's no, you're good. Is it freezable? No, you're good, right? And for Ethereum coins, you have a lot more in-depth audit required. For Solana, you can go through the steps I'm going through now, right? Use these other tools. And then on Gatecapped, see, I knew this coin was, see, it's part instinct, part scientific, right? So I like to use Gatecapped because Gatecapped tells me if it's a cabal coin. So let me explain what a cabal coin is. I don't know if everybody knows what that word means. So cabal is a term that means it's like a cartel, right? And it's a cartel of whales, insiders, market manipulators who all have a vested interest in this project booming and who are all trading behind the scenes. And many times they're being given allocation of tokens prior to the liquidity pool being created. So let me bring it back full circle, yeah? So you have it here, right? So this is the normal process for Pump.Fun tokens. However, you also have another process. So if you're not using Pump.Fun and somebody is just creating tokens themselves, you can say, so I want to say right on, I'm creating a token right on Solana. And then what people are doing, the sort of the predatory, like dishonest founders, what they end up doing is they pre-allocate tokens to insiders and cabal KOLs, right? So those key opinion leaders. And these insiders end up, you can identify them very easily because they are able to sell a token that they never bought, right? So that's the first red flag. How can you sell something that you never actually purchased? It means that you were given it as a gift. Why would you be given a coin unless you were providing marketing and promoting services to that project and you were going to dump them on your followers? Obviously, not all KOLs are this way, right? You're allowed to consult and promote a project. There's I don't, right? And my partner Crypto Hunter doesn't, right? We stay away from that. But others are allowed to do that. There's nothing wrong with doing that. But shilling is wrong, right? So promoting a project without disclosing your position is wrong, right? And it's dishonest, and it's really a POS thing to do. So what these people end up doing, these cabals, is these cabals are created by joining KOLs and other insiders. They're given allocation before the liquidity pool is created, and then they're selling, they dump tokens on new incoming retail buyers who are oblivious and or ignorant or lazy or just purposely following the herd, right? The herd mentality is hugely important in crypto, and then they get screwed, right? And to me, there's nothing I hate more in the world than scams. So that's why I hate cabals, right? I stay the hell away from them. So I would never buy this token because I know that insiders already made 100 grand and they're holding another 700 grand. And the problem, though, you see, the bot is not NA, and then the sold is 24,000. The problem, though, is that you don't know when they're going to dump on you, right? They're going to dump on you at the most opportune time, and that could happen at any time. So if you do want to buy a cabal coin, if you're absolutely dead set on it, then just my suggestion is to go in and out extremely quickly. So buy quickly, exit even quicker, right? Adam, go ahead, brother. Oh, you're on mute, brother. It changes. Just below 50 usually. Because I can make an argument either way that it's good to have a few people who are there on the inside who have a vested financial interest in pushing and promoting and really bringing as much awareness and attention as possible to the project, because then you know that they're obviously going to be pushing the project to at least to 10 million plus. But the problem is a lot of times they abandon the project quickly and they just dump and they move on. And there's chronic pump and dumpers, right? This is why I have no patience for them, and I really dislike cabal controlled coins. Also, keep in mind that this changes. So check it regularly. If you're really interested in the coin, just check it regularly. And yeah, so hopefully that answers that question. Oh, how to get into your Discord. Ivan, that's part of Blockcircle Premium. So I should probably create a I'm the absolute worst with self-promoting. So what you do is go into Blockcircle, go to pricing, and then just join premium. It's just one. So once you have premium, you have access to everything. That's why when people join, they stay for a long time. So, thank you, Wally. That's good. It's good that you said that. Now, what other questions? How do you know if an owner or dev is renounced? I showed you that, right? So that's as a Solana coin. But if you look at an Ethereum coin and you go to like this one, right? So the Department of Government Efficiency, right? Doge. Let's see if so this is how you do it for Ethereum. It's on the bottom right here. See it? So if you click Go Plus Security, anything that looks red here, be careful. So has a blacklist. It's not something I particularly like because they have the power to disable your trading, right? If you get added to the blacklist. Also, I don't like the fact that they can whitelist addresses. That's not something I'm particularly, fond of. But it's almost like proceed with caution. It's not a showstopper for me. Buy and sell tax. I don't like having projects with buy and sell tax, but I understand if it's 1% or 2% where they're shifting some budget towards marketing and brand promoting and so forth. I don't like taxes being modifiable. And I definitely do not like external calls. So basically means if the contract is connecting to another external contract, which means that it's basically just being controlled by another contract, you don't want that. And you definitely don't want coins where the ownership is not renounced, right? You want the ownership renounced, which means that the person who created the token, who has the keys to the kingdom, cannot go and change rules and frameworks of the coin on the fly, right? So that's how you do it. You go to Gold Plus, you go to Quick Intel, it's confirming the same thing. Honeypot risk is low. I don't just blindly believe these honeypot like markers, right? So these honeypot bar markers, every company has their own definition. Usually, if you find that all of them are saying it's probably not a honeypot, that's a good thing. But it doesn't mean that it's not a honeypot. So be careful with that. Okay. Now hey Connor, what's up, brother? Oh, you're on mute. I'm impressed, man. It's like, was it like 5 in the morning? Yeah. No worries. Do you want to introduce yourself for like just a quick minute? It would be good. Mhm. Thanks, brother. No, I appreciate that. It's very, very nice for you to share that, man. Yeah, I wanted to just show like this is basically how we So we have all these chats, and then so we have our main trades channel, then we have our momentum trading engine trades, and then we have our community trades. But we have the majority of the activity is in threads. So each person, like Mighty Mo, is like a highly successful senior trader, investor, and he likes to trade with some perpetual futures, right? He likes to trade with some leverage, and he's focusing more on like mega large cap, right? So the souls of the world, Bitcoin, ETH, APT, the larger projects. And then Walter White, who's also responsible for Blockcircle Espanol. So we have Blockcircle English, Blockcircle Espanol, Blockcircle French, Blockcircle Indonesian, right? And that's where Connor and his fiance are responsible for Indonesia. And we also have Blockcircle Portuguese and Blockcircle German, right? Deutsch, and Blockcircle Netherlands, right? It's one of the fastest growing markets is in Netherlands. So and we have Blockcircle. So we have all these languages and all these regions. Each region is being led by co-founders and managing directors. But the main point, right? The main point of what I'm trying to say is that when I say it's a global alpha community, none of us can do this by ourselves. Like, this is like a shit ton of work. It's impossible for you to stay on top of every single market opportunity without leveraging everyone globally. And the world is not English. Like, this is the thing. Crypto is not just English. There's a huge amount of alpha from those parts of the world. And that's the reason why when we look at, let me refresh this. So like you look at the Dutch community, it's massive. I mean, it's translating it, but let me like not translate it. Let me see what's going on here. I think my thing is do not translate. Dutch added do not translate. So let me try to refresh it. So yeah, so from all parts of the world, they're all bringing alpha, right? And they're all bringing alpha in their own respective way and in their own respective projects and opportunities. And to me, that's critical. Like, that's absolutely critical, because there's projects that we would have never discovered if we didn't have, subject matter experts and alpha leaders in each region. There's no possible way to leverage, market level knowledge that way without having a global community and without having global alpha tools, right? So hopefully that's making sense and like helping everyone. Gotta head out. We'll review the VOD in the morning. Good night, best figure of the goal. Thank you so much, Brad. That's very, very sweet of you, man. So like the whole point of this is to find alpha, right? So like hopefully I've shown you how to screen projects quickly, and we'll go through like multiple examples. So like you have your on-chain alpha, right? But another big form of alpha is looking at listings, right? So basically the listings is so important. Like, there's nothing more important in the world than looking at new projects that are being listed on centralized exchanges, okay? But that's what this new listings channel is. This is a new alpha listings service that it's all built in, it's all included, right? But just an alpha tool. And the reason we did this, we've been working on this for a long time. So this tells you every single coin that gets listed on a centralized exchange spot market and then perpetual futures market. The reason why it's valuable is because projects invariably will pump to the sky and beyond when they get listed on prominent tier one centralized exchanges like Binance, Kraken, Bitstamp, right? And a lot of times they'll pump when they get listed on Bybit or BitGet or KuCoin or Woo. And a lot of times they'll still pump when you go on tier three. Like when you keep going down the ladder in terms of reputation, stability, integrity, etc., you're going to see a huge amount of trading volume that happens immediately when a coin gets listed or when a coin gets announced to be listed, right? And we have the most exchanges covered, so it's really valuable. We have this, and then we also have a Telegram channel that Telegram channel is for free, so anybody can just join and they can see all the listings. But that's how we also find alpha, is like staying on top of every single coin listing. So what I usually do, let me show you an example, and then Connor, you can jump in. But I'll show you what I do. So if I notice a certain category of coins that get listed on tier one exchanges, then that could potentially be like a very good indication of something to come, right? So if I notice that it gets listed on tier three exchanges, so like all of a sudden cat-based meme coins are getting listed on tier three exchanges like Bitmart and like BingX, right? And some of the more local like Bitvavo ones. If you start noticing that those a specific theme coin is coming through in the tier three like channel, and then you're starting to see them going through the tier two channel. Then you start to see them going through the tier one channel. That's why we weren't surprised when Peanut was listed on Binance, right? Everybody was surprised, but we weren't surprised because we could see the coins going through the graduation process, right? Where it was shifting from tier three to tier two to tier one, et cetera. So that's why the listings are so valuable. So I'll give you another concrete example. So 2 days ago, Coinbase suddenly listed Silver and Stellar. So I don't know if you know how many of you remember Stellar, but Stellar was like, think of it as like a semi-centralized private permission blockchain based token, right? All of a sudden, why is Coinbase futures? So futures is very much driven around speculation, right? Why are they listing Stellar? Like there's a reason for that, right? So I looked into it deeper and I realized, what has actually not exploded this year? XRP. And I was like, okay, wait, maybe I need to focus more time on XRP. And that was a very important revelation that I had, right? Because it really hasn't done, and this was 2 days ago. So it hasn't done a lot. It's just basically been in this parallel channel, right? And if it's been in this parallel channel, it's the only coin that really hasn't done much. That to me is mostly a meme. It's a private permission blockchain based coin. It's not even really technically a crypto, but it has a huge cult-like following. It has a massive religious backing behind it, pushing it forward. And if that's the case, then you would think that logically this should do well, right? But it's not doing well. It's just moving sideways. So why is Stellar suddenly listing? Why is it being listed on Coinbase? So those are the kinds of things that I think are very valuable. Staying on top of, like, why is that? And then yeah. So hopefully that makes sense. So Connor, go ahead, brother. Mhm. Thank you. No, of course, man. Thank you, brother. I'm really, really proud of it. I think the next iteration is this is what I'm in the process of building now with the team is we want to start scraping and start collecting even more exchanges, even more marketplaces, even more, listing announcements, or any kind of inkling or indication that a coin is going to be listed. It's going to have common characteristics, it's going to have common properties, it's going to have common patterns, and like if you can identify those ahead of time, then you have a massive market edge. Yeah. So hopefully this is making sense. So you can find alpha by sourcing the alpha yourself. You can find alpha by sourcing the alpha in the alpha community in Blockcircle or from your friends and family and from insider groups. You can source alpha by looking at new market listings. You can source alpha yourself individually just by looking at themes, looking at breakout trends, doing your own analysis and research, right? Those are probably the most exhausting, but still very effective. Yeah, so that you just have to join Premium, Ederson. I I think you just have to join premium if you want to join the Discord and have access to everything. It's all just the same price for the last 7 years. That's the only way we can keep like the riffraff out. So other people charge like 300 to friggin' $3,000 a month to have access to like the people who are in our group. We have like, founders, entrepreneurs, managing directors of like Fortune 50 companies. Like we have huge whales in the group, but we don't brag about it, you know. Yeah, so that's how you access everything. What was another question? Does it make sense that it has 71,000 liquidity with 803,000 market cap? I'm talking about PepNut. So yeah, because usually, so if you're looking at a project, so let's stick to PepNut, right? So usually they'll have liquidity that's locked. So you're not going to be able to see it here that easily. But if you go back to DEX Screener and let's look at PepNut. Again, we know PepNut is a cabal coin, so don't forget that, right? So if you go to dexscreener.com, paste in the address, you see this little button here. So this will tell you how much liquidity is locked. But more importantly, if you actually want to see the liquidity, go to this pair, right? Right here. And let me draw on it so you can see it. It's right here. And then click the EXP button. So if you click the EXP button, it'll take you directly to the pair. And then you can dig a little bit deeper. So that's basically it. You can see exactly when liquidity was initially created and was injected into the pool. You can see anything else that looks, suspicious. But usually liquidity is 50-50, right? So it's 50% SOL, 50% PepNut. So you have 40K worth of SOL and 40K worth of PepNut. And the ratio between liquidity divided by market cap, I mean, 80,000 to 1 million is probably okay. But if you're going above a million, if you're going to like 5 million, you definitely want to have a little bit more liquidity because it's really only 40K worth of PepNut and only 40K worth of SOL. And that can be depleted really quickly. You have to be very, very careful with liquidity. So if you have low liquidity, you have extremely high slippage, right? And if you have high slippage, that means that you're trying to buy PepNut, right, for 1/1000th of a cent, but then you end up paying like 3/1000th of a cent, right? Or you're paying like 5 times higher than you should because the liquidity is so small. So your transaction gets caught in the middle, and then basically you end up getting slipped up, and you have to pay up to be able to execute the transaction, right? So just be careful with these like very liquid coins. The goal is not to buy them with like thousands of dollars. Like you just be, the ones that are interesting. You just enter a small position and then, just slowly scale your DCA in. Adam, go ahead. Yes, exactly. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. He's been offloading. He's been offloading in bulk. He's using a Jito bundle. He's using a Jito bundle where but he's also cascading his sales and he's breaking them up, and he's like dynamic cost averaging out in increments of 1 minute, right? That's how he's doing it, which is very smart because it's not going to raise any flags. Because I mean, you remember that filter I told you to use, right? I told you 10,000, but this sneaky bugger is going right below the threshold, so you wouldn't even be able to see these unless you're tracking below 5K. So yeah, he's been selling for a while, man. 7 minutes now and 5K blocks. Yeah. Hmm. So anytime, a rule of thumb is anytime that when a coin is announced that it's going to be listed, and then when it actually gets listed, if it's greater than 24 hours, usually you have an inevitable dump, like right after listing. Um, a lot of times Binance listings end up leading to dumps because they're announced prematurely, or there's a leak ahead of time, or someone is able to get some type of insider tip that gets published somewhere else, and then people buy in, and then when it's finally listed, everybody else who's buying in at that particular time ends up suffering the fate of like exit liquidity, right? What I've noticed though is BingX and Bitmart listings, those are actually, like, some of them, they'll go 300, 400%. It's like unbelievable, and they'll survive. So, and then Kraken too. Like, remember the Kraken one that I posted? I posted the Kraken one where it went up like 60% that day, and I did well on that trade. Like, I bought it immediately when it was listed, and then I just slowly sold it off in like tranches. So here, where did I, this one? No, not GOAT. Yeah, GOAT was one. I'm trying to remember. I should use in trades. Yeah, in trades, Kraken. These are the tokens. No, where was that? I can't remember when that was. I don't think this trades is working. Wait, trades. Okay, now it's working. Now it'll work. Okay. We were able to retrieve the pre-listing. This is it. And then I put that meme. It's my boy, Nicolas Cage. So yeah, it was this one. So Puffer, you remember Puffer? So Puffer was listed, and we got the listing 3 hours before everyone else. I'm proud of that, man. It freaking took years to build this. But 3 hours, we got it before everyone else. We bought it, and then when it finally got listed on Kraken, it had this initial boom, and then it collapsed, but then it just continued to increase, right? So I sold a little bit here, waited, and then ended up selling a lot as the price was rising, right? And it kept going up. It went up a lot higher than this. So Kraken listings are good. Bitmart, BingX listings are good. Binance listings are usually terrible because they're usually announced or ahead of time. Usually coins with futures are pretty sexy to like jump on top of because people are able to long and short with leverage, right? I mean, that's pretty much it, right, with listings. Yeah, hopefully that answers. Okay, now another question. Also, an initial pool was created with 6 sold for PepNut, if that adds any value to all our investigations. Yeah, I mean, that's normal though. But yeah, that's absolutely helpful. And then Andreas said, also the top trader has made 34,400 on profit without never buying. Exactly. So now you're seeing like what I feel like Andreas, you're with kindred spirit here. Like that's exactly it. Like, but he did buy one. He bought 2,100 worth. But let's see. Did he actually? Okay, so how you look at this is you go into DEX Screener, you go to Top Traders, you click the EXP link, right? You go to Soul Scan, go to transfers, hide 0 amounts, hide spam transactions, set it to only SPL. So SPL is the same as ERC20, like it's just tokens, right? Not the actual Solana coin. So you're setting that. And then you can also set amounts. So you can say, I want only a minimum of X, or only want token PepNut, right? So right now you could see this is clearly an extremely active trader though. I mean, he has 8 pages with 100 each. So you're talking about like thousands of coins. So when did he first buy PepNut? So, my God, he's been buying this for a while. Or no, he's been selling this for a while. But when was his first receipt of PepNut? Best way is, does he still have some? I don't think he has any. Yeah, he completely sold it. If that's the case, then you can just dig deeper here. You know what we can do also? We could filter just to this particular trader. You could see exactly what he did. See? So if you click this little filter button, you can see every single transaction he did, and then I can focus on buys and sells. And then, so he doesn't have a buy. That's what's weird. He has one buy 3 hours and 14 minutes ago. There it is. But is this all he bought? So he bought 4.8 million. He bought 4.8 million for 10 SOL. And then did he sell more than 4.8 million? Is that the problem? Let me see. I think he ended up, let's see, let's look at the actual transaction. So he paid $4,700. No, he paid $2,000. So 10 souls for 4.8 million peanuts. That's basically it. I mean, that's hopefully you're getting a good glimpse into like what we have to do every day, right? Yeah, this is what he's talking about. So he actually, if you look at the chart, he only has one purchase. He sold all of these without buying. His purchase is right here. See? I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but you see how we bought 2,100 on November 14th at 1:36 p.m.? How the hell did he sell all of this without buying? So clearly he's part of the cabal, right? He's just dumping on everyone. It's interesting, right? How he plummets to less than 250 market cap, and then he goes and buys more, pumps it. He's probably some kind of influencer, content creator. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense. Yes, Andrew. Absolutely, man. Okay, guys. Let's see. What are some other questions you have? Are there any questions? Anything else? Yeah, go ahead, brother. No, I don't, man. Yeah, I want you to. We still have another hour and like 10 minutes. So I'm here to help. So just go ahead, ask. I mean, not for. So I'm building my own. So we're building our own now, and so basically, if we're going to use ours, right? I don't want to rely on these other services because these other services are like exorbitantly expensive, and they end up being like anywhere from 30 to like hundreds of dollars a month, which I think is just exorbitantly priced for something that I feel like we can build ourselves. So when we have our own, we don't have to. We're not going to like. We've never charged more, so it's always been the same exact price. It'll all be included. And then in our bot, we'll be able to follow specific addresses, and then you can filter out any airdrops, any kind of NFT transfers, any non-swap transactions, any repetitive tokens, any repetitive buys, any repetitive sells. Like you really just want to identify tokens that they're buying or tokens that they're selling, and you really should only be notified once. And you can, and then we'll also build in the functionality to allow you to filter out by size. So it's like I only want to be notified if a coin was purchased with at least $10,000, right? Just if you put those 5 things together, you're going to exclude out 99% of the noise, right? Otherwise, you end up getting where you're seeing here, right? Which is like, this is one of the wallets I like to track, but look at the problem. I don't have time to go through. I have 2 kids and a wife. Like I don't have the capacity, man, to go through every single, look at this. I mean, they're trading every second, right? And I've already set it to a minimum of 10K. So like, it's just too much, but still see the problem. I've set the filter to 10K and it's still, some of them are slipping through, right? And it doesn't make any sense. So if I go to my wallets, so I'll show you, click the edit wallet, and then you can set the filters, right? So, and I've set it to even more, even 20,000 for this wallet. And you saw it with your own 2 eyes, how many transactions came for less than 10,000. I wonder if they're combining all the transactions into one, like the buying and selling into one composite transaction. They're like, oh, the value is greater than 20, but and you see how you're not able to add any more functionality. Like this is all you can filter to, which I think is ridiculous. So Solana Array is good, but the problem with Solana Array is you can't add certain wallets. It says this wallet is spamming, but it's not spamming. It's just a whale, and he's like a high frequency trader, so he's trading often. Um, but otherwise, you have to pay, and if you have to pay, it's just too expensive, you know. So so we're gonna build our own. That's what we're doing, and I'm really pumped for like having our own because then we have full control over it. Also, another reason I think building our own would be smart is that we can have like predefined wallets. So you can input, you can load in wallets that we've identified that are potentially worth following, right? So these wallets here on the Alpha Hunter version 1, I want to have these built in as like a pre-saved template that you can import into the Telegram bot, right? So does that make sense? Yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, this is exactly. I'm actually really happy that we have this wallet because this has been helping me like spec out the product and exactly how it should be built. The other problem that you haven't experienced yet, which I think you would, rip the few hairs you have left on your head left. But basically, you see these related wallets. This is when it gets very complicated, man. These clusters. So I've identified wallets that have clusters, and that means wallets have relationships with each other and they're constantly transferring back and forth with each other. How to like deduplicate those, how to remove any redundancies, how to remove noise, how to exclude honeypots from those. Like that has been a freaking nightmare. But I've almost been able to accomplish it, right? So yeah, so hopefully that's making sense. And then these like block zero snipers, I mean, they find gems though, man. I mean, they find gems. I mean, it's like unbelievable. They're unbelievably successful, but they have a 90% win rate. The problem with them is that they're just you're gonna burn through so much soul and so much ETH if you're not careful, right? You have to have a way to like filter out the noise. Um, so yeah, that's why I'm not. It's best not to just copy trade these blindly. I think the way you're doing it is absolutely the right way, and it's worked tremendously well so far. Hey Connor, what you have a question? Go ahead. You're on mute. Yeah, go ahead. No, it's unbelievable, man. Yeah. Well, you remember that coin that our brother was telling us about, right? Gary Gonsler, because so like he's being like sued by 18 states, and he's the SEC chief. Um, we found this token literally at launch, okay, because of the Alpha Hunter. But more importantly, what I found interesting about this token is when you look it up on SoulScan, what you'll find is that many of the holders have massive wallets, okay? And some of these wallets are incredibly valuable to just track and follow. Like, okay, this wallet has $760,000 worth of token balances. What else are they buying? Like, aren't you curious? Like, okay, fart coin. Like, it's like that project makes me laugh. Like, it was a funny joke, but it's a real coin. It has real value. And this guy literally has $250,000 in fart coin. So you can joke about the meme revolution, or you can actually pivot and embrace it and learn how to make money from it. And that's what we're doing, So we have no shame in like buying Fartcoin or in buying like Gaunt's less like it's just buying these like ridiculous projects because we can clearly see that they have some value. Like there's a huge amount of interest there. Also, we can see that it has 7,000 holders. A non-airdrop token that has 7,000 holders is very valuable. It's launched on Pump.Fun, right? Because remember I said the last 4 letters, you can identify that as being. But problem with this one coin is some of those whales have been selling. So, but the big ones, like some of them have sold, but they're still holding a good amount. So like this guy sold, I've been tracking them. So these two have sold, but they're still holding some. See? I think he's buying some now. Yeah, he's been buying since we started the workshop. So he was selling some and now he's buying some again, which is interesting. So this is literally what we do all day. We focus on these kinds of things. I don't know if this is going to work for this one particular coin. It might be too small. This usually doesn't work with these tiny ones. But anyways, you could see here. You could see it when he started buying. Yeah. And then when he started selling. So, yeah. There's an upgraded Solana Ray called Ray Orange. What is, okay, is that good? Is that better than this one? The Ray Orange? Is that the same one, Luke? Or is there a different one? I don't know if Luke is on mute or not. I can see you. I don't know if you're on mute or not. Or you just don't want to speak, which is completely fine with me too. No worries. So I don't know if this is the right one or not, but I'll look into it for sure. Okay, what are some other questions? Let's go through questions. Anything else anybody wants me to go through? Is there anything else that anyone's ever been curious about? Yeah, go ahead, please. Mhm. Yeah, so Bonk, unfortunately, I don't think you're going to be particularly happy with, but I just looked at Bonk recently because some of the others in Blockcircle were asking me about it. So my concern with Bonk, I'll show you, is it wasn't outperforming. See, it wasn't outperforming Doge. See how what it's doing? I mean, it's just been atrociously underperforming and bleeding to Doge, which means Doge was clearly a much better, more attractive risk-adjusted like asset to buy into. However, it hit the bottom. I mean, is this the bottom? 9,000 Satoshi, or is it going to continue going down? It's hard to say, man. You know what I mean? Like I don't like these double bottoms, right? These are not like particularly strong coins that I want to invest in a hurry. I would definitely want to wait until there's some strength. Maybe this is it. Maybe this like double local one day back to back bottom with a 3-day ascension of strength. And let me look at volume. Volume is strong, man. Maybe that is the bottom. I mean, this is to me is a very clearly defined bottom. Like these are bottoming patterns. When you have ascending price action, you have convergence with the volume also increasing, and then it's incredibly oversold. Jesus, the RSI was at 10, momentum was way below, almost below 200. Maybe that was the bottom. Maybe now we're entering bonk mania, right? now the Doge has finally had an opportunity to calm down, and you're finally seeing it correct, right? Went from 43 cents now to 36, and now it's starting to turn over, right? So, yeah, my God, I just looked at this 3 days ago. Now the trend has changed completely. So this could be interesting for sure. Now I'm a lot more interested than I was when Plaza, I think it was Plaza and Steven Anderson, right? Yeah, it was Steven Anderson, right? Connor, I think he was asking about Bonk and Book of Memes and Floki and what. So yeah, so Bonk looks a lot better. Book of Meme looks absolutely terrible. Floki looks pretty good. Yeah, I mean Tao is Tao. So the problem with Tao, man, is it's also like exorbitantly valued, man. So it really hasn't done anything against Bitcoin for the last month. It topped in October. Now it's just been bleeding to Bitcoin, which is usually what happens at this market phase, right? The step of the market phase. Um, but I'm not seeing. Yeah, I'm just seeing it declining. I'm not seeing any kind of recovery here. So I would be very careful with Tau. And then Render. So Render is good though. I like Render because it's an AI coin. I mean, there's no question. However, it also went down like 70%. Now it's actually recovered quite a bit. Yeah, it's gone down. It went down 75%, which is a very, very healthy correction for a coin that was exploding. And now it's sitting right at resistance. I mean, those are my thoughts. Fundamentally, it's a very strong project. And that's one of the basic AI-based decentralized computing infrastructure utility coins that I really like. And I have that on my watch list, right? So I have my main portfolio, and then I have my watch list. So these watch lists, you can see how many I like about AI. I like DePIN, I like GameFi, real world assets, privacy-based coins, SocialFi coins. I still like Taki games, even though market cap is so low that it doesn't even show up anymore. Um, it's just funny, right? These coins, unbelievable, man. Some of these coins were valued multiple billion. Now they're worth 20 million. It's incredible. It's amazing. No, they will. I think they will. Yeah, no, they definitely will, but they haven't so far. I'm just waiting for a kind of sustained recovery, right? Like the thing is I don't know. I don't want to scare anyone. I feel like Adam is going to be like, no, but like just so this is a theory that I have. There's a theory that I have that there's absolutely a scenario. Don't shoot me. I'm just sharing my research. There's a theory I have that there's a scenario that actually plays out where we hover between 3 and 4 trillion total market cap, but the composition of how that 3 or 4 trillion is divvied up changes fundamentally, where now meme coins are not just 5% of the entire sector, but end up becoming 20% of the entire sector. And they source capital from other competing investment narratives that are all like fundamental in nature. So let me just show you an example. So I'll give you a concrete example. So if you do meme coins and then you type in CoinGecko, right? And then not meme coin, the project, this. So this basically tracks it by category. So really, the major, most prominent meme coins in the entire sector are only valued at 117 billion. Okay, so if your total crypto market cap is over 3 trillion, right? Just do the math. I mean, that basically means 117 billion divided by 3,033 trillion. That means basically that our thing is like 3.9%. It's 4%, right? So basically 5%. So your memes are, because so CoinGecko doesn't track ultra tiny micro and small caps. However, if you include those, you're basically at 5%, right? So the composition is 5% meme coins relative to the entire sector. And if you and so it's even smaller, right? So if you remove Bitcoin, which is worth at like 1.7, I think, right? So 1.7. So if you just exclude Bitcoin, right? So you're doing 117 billion divided by 3 trillion minus 1.7, right? So basically 1.3 trillion. That's the actual market share for meme coins, right? And that's minuscule. So you're talking about tiny. It's obviously much higher than 5% when you exclude out Bitcoin, but it's still such a small amount relative to all of the other so-called fundamental, utility tokens, right? So I just think there's a scenario that maybe plays out where maybe utility coins do not recover at the same strength and at the same kind of velocity and like thrust that they did in the past, right? And I just want you all to like be prepared for that. Like this is what I've said in Blockcircle forever, right? It's just, I mean, I've talked about this ad nauseum, and you guys know this, is that we have to be ready for the tail end of the altcoin purge. Like this is exactly what's been happening. We've been preparing, like we've been a lot more aggressive with taking profit, right? And this is like we're at the tail end of the altcoin purge, right? And but if you look at what's trending still, what is still moving up, the only coins that are actually meaningfully, consistently, sustainably moving up are meme coins. Now you can argue with me, right? And you can like deny it. No, Chainlink's going to recover, and XRP is going to recover, and Stellar's going to recover, but they're not, right? They're not recovering so far. Now that may change, but it's not hasn't happened yet. Exactly. Like I don't. I mean, that's the thing. Like you can argue and be like, you don't know what you're talking about. Like it's fine. Right? It's not. To me, it's not. It's not a debate, right? I mean, the numbers are very clearly showing you that altcoins are not outperforming Bitcoin so far, right? Except for a handful of altcoins, which are meme coins. That's all. That's the only thing. The only thing that is outperforming Bitcoin in the last several months is meme coins, and not all meme coins, and also Solana. Solana has done exceptionally well since the October breakout, right? So to me, outside of Solana and Doge, I'm not particularly eager to jump on utility tokens just yet because I need them to stop bleeding. And you saw in the channel, right? You saw in the project analysis. These are projects that I love. These are projects that I feel very strongly about. These are fundamentally sound projects with, some of the most established venture capitalist partners, private equity partners. They have real products. They have a real track record. They have a very established roadmap. They have a huge marketing budget. They have a massive promotional powerhouse behind them, right? They just suck. They're just terrible with the valuation. They went from like several hundred millions to like now being valued less than 10 million. So yes, you can buy some, right? And like I've sort of like been dipping my toes and buying like a tiny little bit of some, but it just doesn't make any sense. Like Everclear, right? I'm a huge bull with chain abstraction and multi-chain settlement. Like to me, the future is DEXs, and it's also through multi-chains, and it's through abstracting your wallet or abstracting the chain. So basically you're allowed to process, like you can transfer assets between chains, right? And everything is like concealed and it's hidden and it's private. That's so clearly the future. It doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter that you have the Ethereum Foundation, for God's sake. The Ethereum Foundation has given them money and has given them seed level grant money, despite all of that, right? And Coinbase invested in them. Despite all of that, just look at their valuation. Just take a look at the price action. It's not doing anything. So why would I go and buy this asset if it just continues to secure lower lows and lower highs? Right? It's not something that I'm very eager to buy. That's my point. And the same thing with altered state token. Like, I love altered state token. I love this project. And The reason I'm mentioning this is because this applies to all the altcoins. Like if you have an altcoin that looks really good, ask me and I can take a look at it. But it's going to be really hard to find coins that are stronger than these. And these are all just shitting the bed, right? So like Altered State, it's literally backed by Warner Music, Nas, the super famous rapper, Coinbase Ventures, Phil Quist. I don't know if you guys know who Phil Quist is, but he's like one of the controlling stakeholders of creative artist agency like CAA. They control all the artist contracts, including Tom Hanks, Spielberg, DeGeneres, like Samuel L. Jackson, right? And they have Animoca. They have all these power hitters. It's done nothing, man. It's done nothing. It's down 90. I mean, look at this. So you just have to like accept that there is definitely a world where maybe these don't recover. I still think that they will, but I'm prepared if they don't. Hopefully that makes sense. Yeah. What other questions do you all have? Oh, wait, I'm getting questions here. I use Ray Yellow and it's been great. Okay, nice. Thank you, Wally. That's good for me to know. But Wally, is it the same one? Is it this one? Oh no, this is Ray Orange. So you're using Ray Yellow. This one? Is this the right one? Okay. I think it is the right one. Okay. So this is good. So I'll add it to my list. All right. Let's go through the other questions. Thoughts on astrology meme coins? Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I like the astrology meme coins. I like the coins also about the interconnected like constellations and like the unidentified like flying objects, and then the USAPs and all of these government publications that are leaking out now. I like those coins. Like I think those are always intriguing for people, and they're like in real life memes, So to me, I think they could do well for sure because they're fun, they're simple. Like all zodiac based, projects, I think have always been easy to understand for people. So, and I think that's why I like memes so much is that it doesn't require such a huge learning curve. You don't have to like look how many things I have to mention to you before you're interested in Alter State. There's like so many variables to consider. But when you're looking at memes like through the scope of purely as an investment, like you're gauging investment, you're engaging like community, activity, you're engaging like price valuations, you're like trying to look at all these other variables, but they're so simple to understand. They don't require like heavy mathematics or like heavy analysis research. And I also don't have to do contract audits like I have to do with these fundamental projects, right? Like look how complicated this is to explain. So that aside, I still love this project. What other changes do you see promise on? I still see very much promise on Solana, of course, and then Arbitrum. I love Arbitrum. I know people sort of forgot about Arbitrum, but I like Arbitrum. Why? Because it controls the vast majority of all layer 2 total value locked, which means the vast majority of layer 2 transactions that are being executed mostly outside of just meme coin swapping and buying and selling is being done on Arbitrum chain. Now you can argue that some of this data is fudged and inflated and some of it is like voting transactions. Doesn't matter, right? The point is that the data is here. You can debate it however you want, but it's very clear that they obviously are doing something tremendously successfully in being able to control the DeFi sector, specifically total value lock. And then also Base is breathing under their neck, right? So Base actually surpassed them, but L2 Beat calculates this differently. So I like Arbitrum, I like Base, I like Ronin. I know that's funny, but I like Ronin. That's where a lot of the games are playing. I'm farming for airdrops quite a bit. So that's another thing too. Hey Luke, what's up, brother? Come on and ask a question. Yeah, of course, man. Crystal clear. I mean, with Bitcoin, yeah, for sure, and meme coins. Yep. Yes. I think I would only hold on to coins that are clearly showing some strength. So, like, I'll give you an example, right? So, I like Sheems, right? I've been holding that like the most stubborn person in the world, and its price action has been driving me absolutely like just up the wall, right? I'm like, why is it not getting the recognition that it needs, right? And one problem with it is that it has other competing coins also called Sheems, which are not the real project. And then you have the original one. But recently, I noticed. Let me like remove this thing. I hate that they have that. That's like one problem. But you see this. So this entire time, Luke, it went from 22 million all the way to 1 million. And I've been wanting to just offload it, right? And I'm like, I'm gonna wait until there's at least very clear that we're just gonna continue bottoming or a clear breakout. So I got a lot more bullish because we went up almost 3x in like a week. But now I have to make that decision, right? Is like, am I gonna just hold this so it goes right back down to 500K, or am I going to cut it loose and just move on from it? To me, I've decided that I still like this project because it's the oldest meme on Solana. It's the first dog-based meme on Solana. So to me, that narrative will eventually come back. And I like that there's been a breakout here. I like that there's an initial surge and a little bit of interest here. And I could see that in the past, when it reached this level, it literally exploded to 25 million, like practically overnight, right? Um, Now, when you're talking to me about like other coins, I don't know if I would be selling particularly right now. Like it's just you'd be close to selling the bottom, you know. Um, but you have to look at it asset by asset. Like you have to tell me what asset are you looking at? Like tell me a coin. What's the coin that you're looking at specifically? Like what's your biggest holding that you're curious about? That you're just not sure if you want to hold or buy or sell. Dog. Yeah. No, no, no. It's okay, brother. No, don't worry about that. But the problem with dog is that I think there's only one here. I don't think we're gonna see it here. We might. Yeah, there's a little bit here. It's better to just go on DEX Screener. So there. So is this the oldest one? I'm trying to get the most history. No, this one. This one has 3 years ago. Does it have enough volume? I think this is fine. So this one, I have concerns about it. I like this. I like this project. Connor and I talk about this project like every week. The problem with this project is that one of the major whales who's holding it, like Cryptopathic, is involved with trying to establish copyright law and suggesting copyright infringement with Elon Musk and saying that he needs to pay 100 million for him to be able to access the commercial rights of the Doge trademark. And I don't know how that's going to fall. I don't know how that's going to materialize with Elon. I don't know how he's going to respond to that kind of pressure, or he might take it as like, why are you trying to coerce me, or why are you trying to why are you trying to almost like soft threaten me to like not, you know what I mean? So it makes me a little nervous. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. I know that. Yeah. No, no, he's a beast. He's a beast. No, but that's my word. That's my word. No, but that's what I'm telling Luke, right? I mean, you're asking me for my honest opinion. I'm giving my honest opinion, right? I mean, it's just I know it may not be what you want to hear, but that's my honest opinion. It just makes me nervous. It's not something that makes me want to sell everything immediately, Luke, but it just makes me a little anxious, makes me a little uncomfortable. Like, I don't know if I would be threatening the richest, most powerful, influential person who's now is going to be the right hand man of the new incoming inaugurated president, right? There's some confused, there's some, and then the other problem I have with the Doge NFT is that how important fundamentally is the picture itself to the actual social and like mimetic movement around the dog, right? I don't know, right? I think there's like you can debate this, but so there's all these like fundamental questions, right? And then the second problem is that it's starting to drop now, and I don't know. I just don't know how much support we have here, man. Like it's hitting support, but what happens if it breaks below? So you almost, you know what? One thing that you can consider is having very clear invalidation levels. Like say, and I'm not just saying like a stop loss. I'm saying like you have to have clear levels. Like okay, I'm willing to have this draw down another 20 million. But if this goes down another 30 million, then I'm not comfortable because I mean the data's in front of you, right? How much support do we really have below 110? I mean, this could easily fall to 90 in 3 days. And if that happens, are you okay? Are you comfortable? I mean, I probably would hold this. I mean, it's not like something I would be selling immediately, but I just would be observing it and keeping a close eye on it because it's hitting this support. If it doesn't hold this support, it's very likely going to collapse here. And then you got to pray it holds. Otherwise, we're going right back down 50% down to 60 million, which is not, I think, what you want. Does that make sense? He's a good guy. He's a good guy. Yeah, there's no, I mean, I have faith in him. I like him. Yes, and you don't want to see what happened with that. Well, what happened in the past is, do you remember the Bored Ape Yacht Club, and then the whole like the whole cyberpunk like movement and like the original OG CryptoPunk like NFTs? They were acquired by a company, and then all of a sudden the company changed its terms and conditions and changed all of the covenants like in their contract, and they basically revoked all commercial rights to the NFTs, which that like negates the whole purpose of buying the NFT, right? Is if you don't have commercial rights to it, why the hell would you spend 150,000 to buy controlling rights of the one of one NFT? The whole point of it is it's unique. But the problem was is they were sued, and that just plummeted the value, man. It just made everything so much less attractive. Where now, to this day, right? It's like November 14th. It's still not very clear whether or not you have commercial rights, and that's really just turned off a lot of people. And I worry about this. First of all, it's an experimental like model, right? This whole fractionalized NFT ownership is always like a concerning model. But I love it. I love that model. Like I like this. I like this coin. Like I had some of it before, but I don't have any more. To me, if I want Doge exposure, that's why. Why do you think I was accumulating Doge so aggressively? Right? I was buying Doge from 20 all the way down to 10 cents, and I posted that. Like, you know my thesis, Lou. I mean, you've seen this, right? Like you've seen what I posted about Doge, and I just don't know if Doge NFT is going to be like the beneficiary of that via Doge coin. Like that's what worries me, you know? Um, and do you remember this, right? You remember I wrote about these two scenarios, and I was like, I foresee two scenarios. Is Doge is this market cycle's ETH. And so far, that's exactly what's played out, right? And I still suspect that Doge is going to hit $1.50 to $3. Now, when you look at Dog, the NFT, is it more or less moving with Doge? I don't know, right? I don't think it has been. It doesn't seem to be like very strongly positively correlated to it. So, I mean, it has to some extent, but it just makes me a little nervous. It just makes me a little nervous, man. I don't know. I can't really say any more than that. No, this is a while ago, man. This was I bought Doge. I'm much more bullish than I was before. I mean, it's just confirming that scenario one is playing out. 100%. I mean, this exact. I mean, you basically okay. So who's Donald Trump? It doesn't matter what your political affiliation is, right? Who's Donald Trump right now? He's considered like a highly revered, highly well respected, extremely wealthy, independently, like supposedly independently successful multi-billionaire who's now surrounding himself with three people, right? Surrounding himself with four people, right? Now he's got Joe Rogan on his side, who has like a massive influential circle. He has the richest, wealthiest person in the world, who's essentially a glorified meme, like Elon Musk. He also has Vivek, right, who's like a multi-billionaire pharmaceutical founder, hedge fund like investor, extremely bright, like Harvard graduate, like knows exactly how to rebuild and re-engineer and how to get things going from the ground up, right? And then he also has Dana White. And who's Dana White? He's like the king of marketing and brand promoting, right? So you have all these people. So like, how could you possibly not imagine that these people are going to come in and they're literally, I'm sure they're all going to be start pushing Doge. Like it's already happened. Like you saw and you see it. Like it's literally called the Department of Government Efficiency, and they took over the Twitter handle, right? Twitter. I mean, just think about how ridiculous that is. That so I'm not. I don't want to fight that trend. Do you know what I mean? Like to me, I just don't. I don't want to fight that trend. That's my main point is that, and if that's going to be the case, then I don't want to be. I just don't want to be going against that. So I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, look at this. So this is clearly like they're just playing with us. Like they're telling us we're gonna be pushing Doge, and he already started. Like when you look at Elon Musk's Doge, he keeps mentioning it, and he has 200 million followers. So to me, I'm not gonna fight this, right? I mean, look at this. I will be sending $3,000 in Doge, but this is not him. This is a parody account. Let's look at like a real person. Team Doge. Like they're literally called Team Doge. you know? So if Doge succeeds, then who else is going to succeed? Probably Luke's coin, right? Probably the own the dog like NFT. Yeah, probably it'll do well. But also all other memes that are like related to Doge are probably going to do well. That's why I'm holding Sheems. That's like the original picture, right? Um, yeah, so I'm particularly bullish about Doge and the king of memes, and also I like DeFi. There's a huge resurgence in DeFi because of Trump. He created his own token, the World Financial Liberty, and that's going to bring up a lot more interest. It's not doing well at all, but it's still going to sort of stimulate DeFi interest again. Go ahead, brother. So these are the ones that I have respect for. I'll show you. So my suggestion is go into go into blockcircle.com, log in, and then go to decentralized finance. See this on the left hand side, and then go to total value locked. Do value locked by blockchain, and then you'll immediately see any kind of emerging trend of which coin is doing or which blockchain platform has the most volume, right? And whether or not it's growing. So you can see Solana is growing. You can see Avalanche is sort of tapering off. Polygon is Arbitrum is good, steady. Optimism is steady, solid. Kronos is declining. Phantom is declining. I would stay away from these. I would stay away from DeFi chain or Mixin. Mixin maybe. I have to look at Mixin more. I like Near. Clayton is okay, but it's declining, right? So I would stick to the blockchains that are appreciating in terms of total value locked, because that means more and more funds and capital are being locked away in these blockchains across protocols of these blockchains. And then the second thing I would do is then dig deeper and say value locked by DeFi project on Solana, and then zoom in. So if you zoom in and you say only look at the last 3 months, and maybe even just look at the last month, and then look at the last value, and you'll see right away. So you'll see Camino Land is one huge one. I was farming that one. And then there's also Marinade, liquid staking. So you have Camino Land, you have Marinade, liquid staking, you have Jupiter Staked Soul, which is fine. I like that too. Drift, I like Drift. So the Drift protocol is excellent. I think you would like it too. I like Blaze Stake, no. Sanctum Infinity, no. Meteora is good too. Like so, everyone's focusing on Radium, but Meteora is also taking a little bit of market share for itself, right? It's a competing DEX. So those are the ones I like on Solana, you know. And then if you focus on if you want to do Avalanche, I like Avalanche. I know a lot of people don't, but I like Avalanche. And there's actually some really good liquidity pools that you can basically contribute capital to, and you can get like a pretty healthy percentage. Even if you're staking, you can literally lock your Bitcoin and USDT and USDC on Avalanche, and you'll get like 30 plus to 100% returns like a year. You have like a 30 to 100% APY. So for like a relatively low risk, you know, and a lot of those are on Uniswap too. So like, but just take a look at these, you know. So just take a look and see if you find anything interesting, which you will find. But like on Avalanche, you know, the ones that are, just look at the ones that have the most volume, and then like Vector Finance obviously is established. Like Yield Yak is okay. So like, you know, those are the ones that's how I would look at it. And then another thing you could look at is if you go to DeFi Llama, DeFiLlama.com, and then go to yields on the left-hand side, and then you focus on a coin, right? So let's say, oh, I have BTC, and then I want to be able to find something that potentially is interesting. So choose this one. Don't choose only. Just choose BTC this way, and then filter it by, and don't include liquid staking. Just there's no reason to, you know, experiment with that. Just do base APY or APY this way. Remove anything that, and then choose your chain. So if I want to have, let's say, Ethereum, Solana, Avalanche, that's more than enough to get started. And then go in descending order. Remove anything that doesn't have enough volume. So, or any kind of where there's not enough TVL, right? So let's say the TVL is at least 1 million. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Do it this way. And then you'll filter out a lot of the bullshit, and then do it again. See, it went from like, you know, multiple thousand to now 300. But the problem, Adam, with this, what's the problem here, right? And everyone just says, oh, it's in permanent loss. That's not the problem. The problem is you're going to have to hold some kind of weird wrapped derivative version of Bitcoin called BTC.B. And then you're also holding a wrapped version of AVAX. So I don't like it. I don't like this. I also don't like this. Like, this is a Coinbase wrapped version of BTC, which is fine, but I don't know. I'd have to investigate this one further. You know, this one is good. Like, this could be attractive because it's from a highly audited, secured, you know, #1 DEX in the world, right? Version 3, not version 4, which is fine. And you're really only risking BTC and USDT, and the pool, the percentage of the pool, Adam, that you're getting is 0.05%, which is, you know, it's on the low side because you can get 0.3%, but you get significantly more volume. So you have higher volume but lower perpetual return, right? I like these. I would definitely look at these. I think these are considered much less riskier than Orca or Joe, and you're getting a percentage that's attractive. I mean, if you click it, you can look at the history as well, and you can see. You don't need to look at the whole history, but if you just zoom in, you can see where it was. So it went from 12 million to 2 million. That's a bit of a, it's a bit of like an amber flag. But like you'd have to investigate this. Like, why did it go down 80%? It's still up considerably from a month ago. But why would this spike and then collapse down? You know, and then also doesn't have a rating, so be careful here. But this is how you evaluate them. If you have others that you want me to look at, I can look, but you just tell me the token and tell me your preferred chain, and then I can tell you which one is the safest to use. No problem, bro. Okay, what do you think of uh, which chains do you see promise on? I answered that. Basil, can you walk through the Telegram bots you're suggesting using to buy, sell, truck wallets, Solana, Ray, Racer? Okay, so there's a lot, man. So my suggestion is to use multiple Telegram accounts. I have multiple Telegram accounts. I would not rely on one centralized Telegram account using a centralized trade execution service. The ones that I like are the ones that it's not loading here. I think there's like a Telegram rendering error. Let me try it again. Yeah. So I like these. So I like and this is the reason why we don't partner with these companies, because I can tell you very honestly and sincerely which ones are shit and which ones are worth using. So I know the founder of MaestroBot. He's a nice man. He's a very smart developer. He's a Canadian brother. So I like MaestroBot. I like Banana Gun. I like Banana Gun. It's awesome. I like PhotonBot. Right? I like PhotonBot. I like BonkBot. I don't know if you need to use BonkBot, but BonkBot is very good. It's excellent. I think those four are probably good enough. And then for tracking wallets, like when we create our own, you could use that one, obviously. The other ones are like Dropbots. Like you can use, yeah, it's Dropbots. I don't know why it's not showing up here. It's this one. I don't know why it's not. Let me try to find you the website. It's this. It's Dropsbot. So here. Wait. Let's do it again. Let me close this and then get the Twitter. Okay, let's do it this way. Dropsbot Twitter. This. So I like Dropspot. This one's good. I like the Ray Solana bot. Right? This is good. This one, Raybot, very good. I like it. It's just very expensive. So I don't know. It's just too. I don't like the fact that they're charging you like $100 a month for being able to track 200 wallets. Um, so, but I understand. I mean, they have to obviously run a for-profit corporation. Like, there's no concerns. But I like those. I like. I mean, that's basically it. I mean, I think that covers like most of your questions. Yeah, and then Ray Silver, Ray White, Ray Orange. Like, there's a few other people who used Ray Orange, and they're happy with it. Hey, Basil, any chance you can add a channel with entry and PT levels? PT levels. Are you talking, Ahmad? Are you talking about take profit levels? I think that's what you're asking. At the top memes, you mean a whole channel just for entry and take profit levels? Hey, Habibi, how are you, brother? Good, man. Can you elaborate on what you're asking? Yeah. Yes. Okay. I like that. So I think the best way of doing that is probably, I think you just ask me. Like if you ask me for that, I'll write it in the market analysis and I'll probably I'll pin it. I'll pin it. I think that's the best way. Yeah. No, man, you're not. That's not. No, no, you're not. You wouldn't be bothering me at all with that. I mean, that is very relevant because I promise you, Ahmed, you're not the only one who's wondering that. Like, this is the thing that Connor always reminds me of. He's like, you probably should talk about ABC because I'm sure there's others who are worried about it or concerned, and they're just not asking you. So, so yeah, no, no, I'll definitely. I know, man. Yeah, go ahead, brother. Yeah, yeah, exactly, man. I mean, that's 100% the right way of doing it. Because why it's just now the problem why people get wiped out is they over leverage themselves. I know you're not using leverage, but people over leverage themselves and then they get completely wrecked because they never expect the price to be so violent, right? And we've been expecting a pullback. How long have we been saying we're expecting a pullback? We should be we should have a plan now where we're expecting a pullback. We should put the right pieces in place, right? But what's happening with Ethereum? It just keeps setting new lows, man. Every time I think Ethereum has set a new low, it continues to break below. I mean, this is crazy. This was my terminal target range. I set this 2 years ago. I thought 0.035 to me was like the worst case scenario bottom. We hit it, and I was like, "Damn, we hit the bottom." But it just continues to bleed. So how do we expect altcoins to ever have a chance in hell of recovering if we don't see Ethereum recovering, right? And this is why to me, there's no better metric than this one custom metric, which this literally tracks Ethereum, Solana, AVAX, so Avalanche, Binance, Cardano, Polkadot, and Tron, right? And all it's doing is just bleeding, just going down and down and down. Every time I set a new low, it's breaking below. But maybe this is the bottom. I mean, I love this massive selling spike in volume. That's good. It's usually a very good bottoming pattern, right? Um, but hasn't, yeah. No, that could be no, this could be it. Usually this is what you want, man. You want like a massive spike in volume. You see, and then you see a convergence in price, you see a convergence in volume, you see a convergence in a leading technical indicator like RSI. You see convergence also in a lagging indicator like the Blockcircle momentum indicator, right? And then you're seeing all these variables all moving in the same direction. That's usually pretty damn sexy bottom. Yeah. Oh, go Adam, go ahead, brother. Jump in. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think overall my view has become even more bullish now. I mean, you know my concerns. I mean, I've said this on the stream as well. And like for the people who are not in Blockcircle, I every week we do like multiple live streams. Crypto Hunter does those, and then I do them like pretty regularly as well, at least like once or twice a month. And then I'm trying to do them even more regularly, but I'm focusing more on building and designing and deploying and so forth. But I've shared my concerns about the macro economy countless times. Like we're going to have a recession. There's no question in my mind about it. I've shown the metrics. I can debate this with any economist in the world. Like the data is very clearly showing we're going to have a recession, right? It's just no, you don't want delinquency rates rising, right? Like just in simple terms, you don't want these massive reversions. You don't want delinquency rates on credit card loans rising. You don't want mortgage rates rising. You don't want mortgage delinquency and mortgage default rates rising, right? You don't want those kinds of things, right? In general, and that's these kinds of things you don't want to see, right? So usually these precede. These are usually the earliest indicators of some type of recession that's going to come underway, right? I'm not going to argue with the data. Like that's just what's happened every single time we've had a recession. However, it's still not high to dangerous levels, right? And Trump can absolutely inject more economic stimulus to delay the inevitable recession, potentially 1 to 2 to 3 years, right? My initial projection was we were going to be already in a recession, right? And that projection was way too aggressive. It was too early. Like, I took it for granted that the presidents are, the incumbent president and the new president were going to be, I thought they were going to be a lot more aggressive. And they're going to be like, okay, we're going to just rip the Band-Aid off. We're going to experience like pretty significant blowback here from injecting 7 trillion into circulation, right? And we made all these mistakes. Let's just learn from our mistakes and like let's start clean, right? But they haven't done that. They just keep kicking it and keep delaying it, and they keep promising this soft landing. I don't think that's going to happen. Like the data shows that it's not going to happen. You know? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because people are just all they look at as they're like, oh well, look at like the 10-year and the 2-year treasury, and there's an inverted bond yield curve, and it's like, fine, man. That also is proving that there's going to be a recession, right? And whenever you have an uninversion of the bond yield curve, which basically means that people see more stability in the short term than long term. Just think of that logically. Does that think logical to you? Does that sound logical to you? Like usually you have more stability and more confidence in the future than you have in the short term, not vice versa. So that alone is a huge red flag. But those are the long term things, Adam. Right? Those are my long term. That to me is I'm unwavered on that. Like there's no convincing me otherwise. Like I've been saying this for a year and a half. We're going to experience some kind of significant macroeconomic like blowdown. But until then, I'm exceptionally bullish because we have like favorable political structures in place. We have a president who's surrounding himself with like ultra capitalist, ultra profit driven, like for profit entrepreneurs who are very entrepreneurial. The fact that they're very entrepreneurial is very important, right? Because it shows that these are all self-starters. Like they all have like armies of companies behind them supporting them. Like they're going to want the economy to grow as aggressively as possible, right? They're not going to want to have a recession. So you have this huge like interest, and then you also have other governments who are now going to follow suit. You have like the de-escalation of potentially 2 wars. So you have like Russia, Ukraine, and then you also have the whole everything that's happening in Palestine, right, and Israel. And if you have all those 2 wars de-escalating, then you have like favorable geopolitical environments. So you have all these favorable things, and you're also having the Federal Reserve finally like softening its stance a little bit, right? And they're not very clear whether or not they're like hawkish or dovish, but they're still doing economic contraction, which is not good. I don't like that they're reducing their balance sheet. Like those are not good things, Adam. Like all the other things were positive, but I don't like that the Federal Reserve keeps contracting its balance sheet. That's not good. I don't like that. Not a huge concern, but it is concerning, nonetheless. I don't like that they're doing that. They're clearly doing that for a reason. So, so it's like, you have like six positives and one negative. So does that mean net? I think I'm very bullish, and you have the massive institutional run up of stable coins. And I showed this, right? I mean, to me, this is what I was waiting for, man. This is what I've been freaking waiting for like 2 years, and it's finally happening, right? We've been waiting for this stupid 140 billion level to break forever. We finally broke it. Where is it? It's all the way, not this one. It's this one. This one gives you much more data. So let me delete this and show you 1 week. See this level here. It was 140 level, took forever to break. Okay. It took a year and a half to finally break. It took 2 years. Finally, we broke it. Now we're just exploding, man. This is what I want. Like since I just posted my update, we got another 10 billion in the crypto sector. That's what we want. I love this. Look at this volume. That's the highest injection of fresh capital into crypto since, Jesus, man, that's since, my God, is that the highest ever? No. How much is that? 10 billion? No, that's 7+ billion. That's the highest since April 2021 or May 2021, which is interesting because that's when the market top happened. But usually we had this massive spike. That's what I'm trying to see, man. This is what I'm saying here. This is why I still think that's where we are. Is like the tail end of 2020, where like the party didn't even really start yet until January. I just feel like we're so early, man. I'm feeling so bullish. At least I'm feeling bullish going into the inauguration. So those are like my long term. Those are my midterm. Short term, no, man, we're unbelievably overbought. Like there's no indication that we are not going to experience a flash crash. Like we are 100%. There's no doubt in my mind, but it's just not happening as quickly as I was anticipating. Like we're at record breaking levels. Like, and just look, you don't have to take my word for it, right? Just look at the data. Like every single time that so this is open interest. So this is showing you how much unsettled contracts are in circulation across Bitcoin, across all the main exchanges. This is excluding decentralized exchanges. Don't forget that. So it's even higher than this. And this is excluding options. This is only perpetual futures. And it's already at close to 60 billion, right? This one's look at this. Every time that we've hit the prior high, you know what I can do? I can draw right here. So every time that we hit a prior high, we've had a massive collapse in price. It doesn't mean that we're going to have a collapse now. I'm just saying that my expectation is that we're going to have a flash crash where all these people who are long, who are leveraged long, right? I think are going to get wiped out. So I'm just waiting for this to clean up because it's still 52% long, 48% short. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, momentum one. Yeah, yes. So usually a flash crash, I don't know how long it's going to last. I mean, it could just be like 24 hours. It could be a few days. It could be a week or two. I mean, but we're definitely we are way overdue for like a nice pullback. I mean, I think I think that is obvious. However, I don't think I think it might be more. I mean, look at the data, man. I mean, it's just too much. There's too much fluff. I mean, look at this. You can't have 63% calls to 36% puts. No, no good. This is extremely lopsided. And then also look at Google. Look at the interest of Bitcoin. It just hit the interest in Bitcoin just hit a 90-day high, right? It just hit a 90-day high just a few days ago. So like the retail interest is surging. And then if I look at, and then also if you're using like the fear and greed index, look how greedy we are right now. I mean, it just continues to rise higher, higher, and higher and higher. So I don't know, man. Those are my thoughts. I mean, if you look at this and you say this is healthy, I mean, come on. So you can look at max pain, you can look at all these other things, but like ultimately, I mean, I shared my levels also, but so those are all the things that are like convincing me that we're going to have a correction. However, I will say another thing about that is that in the past, let me add my bands and let me include all of Bitcoin, not just Binance. So look what's happened in the past. Let's look at the last market cycle, right? And this hopefully will help you like understand this. Every time, let me remove these other ones. Just clean it up a little bit. So the one in blue is the 8-week EMA, right? This is something that like I really, really like to use because anytime that we go below the 8-week EMA, we typically have like a 2 to 4 week correction. Okay. In the past, that happened multiple times. So that happened here, that happened here, that happened here. We had a wick right below the 8-week EMA. But what was the overall trend? The overall trend was upper with higher highs and then mostly higher lows, except for that small sideways movement. I just don't want to be in a situation where like I'm like selling everything while it's just a momentary pullback and like a healthy correction. And like if you look at 2017, it's even more. It happens so much more often. Like I don't want to be shorting this. Like there's going to be multiple times where we're going to have these crashes. We're going to have these massive sideways corrective periods, right? And you're seeing them. Like how many? Like count them with me, Amado, right? So it's like we have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then what were the crashes? Just look at the numbers, right? The crashes went from 3,000, so that's 2 times the all-time high at that point, right? It went from 3,000 all the way down to 1799. So let's say right here, that's 40%, man. So if Bitcoin crashes by 40%, Amma, what do you think is going to happen to your lovely Bonk or your lovely? Dude, they're going to get their asses handed to them. Like they're going to get completely wiped out. They're going to be like, "What just happened? Like this is now what you promised me." Right? Yeah, I mean it's only 15 years. Yeah. No, man, I don't think I don't. I'm that's exactly that's the same trap that every single market cycle everyone falls for. It's like this time's different, and like this time has not been different. Like I would hope that by now I have shown like empirically that this time is not different. The only difference this time is that memes are the overwhelming driving narrative, and that they're pushing everything up. But that's really the only unique difference. Everything else has been mostly on point with every other market cycle. Like we've had others Bitcoin, continue to collapse. Like we're so close. Like look at how often there's so many commonalities. Like you have others Bitcoin collapse as Bitcoin's hitting new highs. Right? It just happens every single time. You have Bitcoin dominance hitting 2-year high, right? I set this target 2 years ago. I said 60 to 65%. We're right on target. We're topping. I would hope that we're topping at this point. You see this massive spot. This could potentially mean that we're forming a top soon. But this could easily push up for another few weeks, man. So if Bitcoin dominance pushes up, especially true Bitcoin dominance. So if Bitcoin dominance continues to push up, altcoins are going to have a huge amount of trouble to like outperform Bitcoin and to continue to take market share. What if Bitcoin dominance goes sideways and altcoins start going down? Then you're having a lot of trouble. So to me, what I really, really, really want is I want Bitcoin dominance to these are not like healthy indicators. However, my counter. I'll give you my counter. My counter is in the past. This is like it's a weird kind of statistic, but it's true. In the past, every time that we've broken all-time high, we typically double before we have like a big pullback. I don't know if that's going to happen again, but it's happened in the past. So like in the past, in 2013, this is like freaking 11 years ago, right? But we got 282, right? That was like our top, 250 plus. And then we broke 250, and then we went right back up to 1300. We didn't even really pull back. We didn't pull back. We just kept exploding up. That was 10 years ago. Look at 2017. The high was 1200, right? When we broke it, so don't forget, we broke our high twice now already. When we broke the all-time high, when we got close to it, remember that wick here? So we had this little wick here, and then we got rejected. Then we tried it again, and we were unsuccessful in breaking it. We got rejected, and then when we finally decisively broke it on the weekly, like we did now, look how high we went, man. We went up all the way to 3,000. So it's just like, and then again in 2021, when we broke that stupid 20,000, right? That was like 19,500. That was our limit. We attempted to break it and we got rejected, right? And we did that already. We already experienced that. So, but when we finally broke it decisively and we had a weekly close above it, why do you guys think I keep saying we have to have weekly closes? Like that's why I've been so strict about the scorecard, because the scorecard is the only thing that's ever like saved me in the past. It's never failed me, right? Is my ratios have never failed me because they've just helped me so much in like being able to know when to go long, when to go short. Like, should I be bullish on alt? And you can see, brother, like most of these have been hit, man. This one is hit already. So I can change this. But altcoins are not showing strength. SHIB is not outperforming Doge. Like, these things are not as important, but they are important. But really the only thing missing is this, is altcoin. They just need to show some strength. Otherwise, but going back to the chart, like, do you not see that too? Is that every time we've broken the all-time high, like our all-time high was 73,500, right? We completely destroyed that. We're at like 90, we were at 93,000. So that's finished now. So does that mean we're going to go up to 130,000 before we correct? Maybe. I mean, it's absolutely possible. And is that not the most improbable scenario? Like, it's actually the most probable scenario, but in people's minds, I mean, people are just blown away right now that we were that close to 100,000. I don't think anybody was expecting that. Yeah, just hedge, man. I mean, what happens tomorrow if Musk goes and starts promoting Doge? What do you do then, right? Like my current position in Doge is much higher than 5% now because it exploded. I have like a pretty significant portion of my portfolio is in Doge and Solana and Bitcoin and stablecoins, right? Like, because those are the only ones that are showing strength. Like Beeble, I love Beeble. It's done absolutely nothing, man. like Samsung bought them. They were invested in them. Coinbase invested in them. Like I don't not believe in them, but so those are my thoughts, man. Hopefully, no, you're welcome, man. And then there was another question here about Cosmic. Yeah, what do you think of Cosmic? DWF Labs partnered up with them. Cosmic. I mean, here, I can show you. So if I look at Cosmic, I like Cosmic. I mean, there's not, I don't have anything against it, but it's just, I know I looked at this recently. It's just chart makes me nervous. Just makes me a little nervous. You know? Makes me a little nervous. Because now we're just reaching this, like to me, this is go time with Cosmic. You're having this symmetrical triangle that's forming. You don't want to be in these situations. Like everything is you say like coincé in French, right? It's like it's all squeezed into like a little converging corner, and then you have to decide. And actually, I think statistically, it's like 50-50 at this point. If it's going to break out or break down, I would be careful here. Doesn't mean sell, but it just means be careful. I like DW Death Lab. I don't have any concerns about them or anything. Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything bad to say about them. But this is back to my main question, right? Is like, so the way I used to find projects really early is I used to find these projects, right? I used to do really well with these projects where like VC backed, private equity backed. Like one of them is like supported by Muhammad Ali Enterprises, the other one's supported by FIFA. Like those announcements would like pump the project 20x. But none of those are working anymore. Those kinds of like news cycle fundamental utility tokens are not working anymore. Like, and like remember Adam, what I told you last night, like what's the most used crypto applications today do not have any tokens. They don't have any tokens. In Singapore, there's a token 2049. I think there's more similarities. I mean, we were talking about memes way before he was. I think I don't think he's copying me, but I love memes. I mean, to me, I mean, when did I talk about memes, right? I like, do you remember I like posted about this, right? Is that I encouraged everyone to learn about like mimetic movements and like the social and cultural movements about them because I didn't understand them. And then I had to learn about them and study them. And then I was just like, Jesus, this is like, like, look at, I wrote this, right? I posted this 18 months ago and I talked about the importance of learning about mimetics. And I explained it in like concrete detail that like this, if I go back to the message, it's about social cultural movement. So to me, there's no question that these whole mimetic life cycles, to me, that's the future. Like that's why I've been so focused on this, right? And it's about social anthropology, it's about behavioral psychology, like something I'm very, very invested in, and like the virility, all these factors that go into a meme, right? However, the problem I have with memes, and I know you don't want to hear this, but like this is what concerns me about memes. And I mentioned this to you, Connor, too, is that like why do we think that crypto memes are going to still do exceptionally well going forward in the next few years if like stock meme coins have all plummeted now? That's it just concerns me. It concerns me that when I look at stock memes, they're not really haven't really done anything, man. Doesn't this chart concern you, or maybe this is okay? Maybe it's fine. I don't know. It's just considerably lower than it was before, and it's severely underperforming Nvidia. It's down 80%. I mean, the same thing with Nokia. These are not really so why what makes Doge so special that it can't suffer the same fate as BlackBerry or AMC Theaters or Nokia or games? Those are my concerns. No, they're definitely investing in crypto. I mean, that's why I wrote this. Like whenever you see, this is exactly what the data was showing, is whenever you see GameStop outperforming Doge, then you should absolutely be short crypto, right? And right now, it hasn't been. It's just been underperforming Doge this entire time. So it makes no sense to buy GameStop, because I know some people were asking, should I buy GameStop or should I shift some risk away? It's like, no, like if you're going to buy GameStop, then you're going to want to buy it at these times, right? When it starts to outperform. But it's not outperforming. It's literally hitting a record low. It's like a 10-year low. So there's definitely a correlation. Like there's no question about it. The same thing with Nvidia and Near. Like they're both AI. One is stock and one is crypto. Anytime that you see Near outperform Nvidia, you definitely want to be much more aggressive, like long crypto, right? And whenever you see Nvidia underperform Near, sorry, yeah, I'm saying the exact same thing. So whenever you're seeing Nvidia underperform Near, you want to be much more aggressive crypto. And right now, Nvidia is finally starting to underperform Near, right? Since the election, right? So people have been definitely shifting some capital over. There's no question. You know? All right, guys. Any other questions? Going strong here. 3 hours and 20 minutes. But you guys are all looking at me, so I mean, you must be, hopefully you're learning a few things. I'm enjoying it. Where will the recording be available? So the recording should be available through our YouTube channel. So our YouTube channel. Oh, I created a coupon code. Let me post it. But let me first show you. See? That's us right there. So that's our YouTube channel. And then you should be able to just access the YouTube channel and then click live. And then you should be able to see our stream. Everything will be there. And then another thing was what was the other thing? The coupon. Yeah, the coupon. So I created a coupon, and it's for 40% off for just for now, like for the next, 24 hours. So here, it's called Workshop 40. That's what so I'm going to post it. It's called Workshop 40. Yeah. So that's for 40% off. So you could use that and you get 40% off like yearly, and the yearly is already 30% off. So doing 40% off, another 30% off is a lot. That's like 60% off. Because yearly is usually like 1,200, and then we discounted it to 990, which is, I think it's like a little less than, no, that's 20%, right? And then, yeah, that's 20%. And then we discounted it another 40 just for today. So that's a lot less. So if you guys are interested, join, man. Love to have you. But we are pretty selective about who we take. Like, we don't want shillers, dishonest promoters, people who are just pumping BS. Like, we're definitely not interested in that. So, but yeah, we'd love to bring you on. Do you take beginners? No, I mean, yes, definitely, but I would strongly encourage you to take the course first, and and then yeah, come in, of course, like if there's no problem at all. But I would strongly encourage you to take the course while you subscribe at the same time. um, and yeah, you can have access to our watch list, our alpha hunter. You have access to the alpha community. Like, you don't have to be an expert in crypto at all to join. um, Especially now when this, like, an understanding of social trends and cultural trends is probably even more important than crypto expertise. So definitely, we take beginners. Do you call yourself Cheese? It's pretty cool. Cheese Sue. So Sue is my mother-in-law's um my mother-in-law's last name, because my wife is half Chinese. So my kids are a quarter Chinese. And that's the same last name. We say hello, Sue. Yeah. Her name is Xi Jinping. Yeah, so anyways, any questions, guys? Anything else? I can stay on. You're all still here, so is there anything? Alvaro, Aaron, Ned, you guys have been here from before everyone else. Lloyd, anything from you, brother? James, Nathan, great live. You're very welcome, brother. Rania, I'm very impressed you're awake all the way in Lebanon. Rick, Renee, Ederson, Tiago, Zoid. What's up, Zoid? You're welcome, Raju. Raju, you don't want to say anything? Why are you being so shy, man? It's all good, man. No, you're welcome, brother. You're welcome, man. Thank you so much, Ederson. That's very, very kind of you, man. We take great pride in what we do. So thank you, man. Thank you, brother. What kind of dev are you? Full stack? Oh, nice. Yeah, it's good, man. Do you do Python at all? Yeah, good, man. That's awesome. That's like, I'm obsessed with that. So no, I'm glad to help. All right, guys. Well, I think my brain's about to explode. But if there's no other wait. There's a question here about Helium. What's the link to subscribe? Oh yeah, sorry. Obviously, should have posted that. So it's blockcircle.com/pricing, or just blockcircle.com. That's what it is, Cheese. Thanks. Still on the hunt for a Helium knowledge source. Helium knowledge source? Like Helium, like the coin itself? Is that what you're talking about? This? Where you have like all of the DePIN decentralized projects? Oh yeah, I'm the guy with the 900 HNT. Yeah. But is there a question that I didn't answer? I thought I answered that. I would definitely prefer. Oh, yeah, you have your funds locked. Yes. You had a cell phone and HNT 900 coins, but they pulled it offline and started a new one. I missed the deadline date to convert. I mean, I would definitely contact them directly, right? I mean, I don't think you really have any other option at this point. Um, you literally don't have no other option. Like, what I would do is I would go to their Twitter page, right? So I would open up all these social links. You see them highlighted here, Tom, right? Highlight all these links, open them one by one, write a little blurb, say, hi, I'm Tom, I have an HNT, da-da-da. I had 900 coins locked away. Can you please help me recover them because they're indefinitely locked, right? And then I would message them on Twitter and say, hey, what's going on? And then I would message them on Facebook. I know it sounds annoying, but like, I would first start on Twitter and I'd email them. And if they still don't respond, then I would escalate to all these other messages. And then on YouTube, see their email here. So you can email them, you can tweet them, you can message them, just keep hounding them. Then there should be usually an email here too. See, there's email here. So here's another email. It's probably going to be the same one, but hello, but let's see. Here. Yeah, it's the same one. But still, man, those are 5 different options. And you can also message them on Instagram. I don't think they're going to respond there, but I think they will respond. They'll respond on Twitter or they'll respond via email. So that's what I would do. Hopefully that helps. Oh, you're welcome. They're not responding. Who can get they're not responding? I don't know, man. You can't really ask. This is the problem. You see, like they're holding your funds hostage, right? I mean, you can threaten legal action. You try to write them like a very formal letter and a demand letter, and you explain to them how you had legal rights over those funds, and you show them that there's proof of those funds and that they locked it away, and then try to apply some pressure that way. But I don't know why they would hold the funds that way. I don't know if there's more to it that I'm not privy of, So yeah. So all right, guys. Well, thank you so much. I hope that was good, and I'm happy it was helpful for everyone. But all right, have a good day. Bye bye. Oh, might consider an AI chatbot to help write legal letter. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And they convert it to Solana. No, they should definitely help you with the token migration. That makes no sense. Why don't you go to their Telegram account and like hound them? That's what I would do, or their Discord. You should be making it very clear that they're holding your accounts. That's what I would do. All right, guys. Take care. Bye bye. Love you all.